Drivers, start your engines!
Plenty of carnage, full head on them, wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy. It's a junkyard. There's too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas, gotta hang off here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job. 10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bullshit. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raising no. What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots. I don't care. Just let me drive. What is he doing? This is embarrassing. What a clown show.
Did you ever think you would see that?
Hello. Did that just happen? Holy cow! Let's go!
Jarrett, are you feeling okay?
No, Danny. I have the suds. I'm better. I'm better now. Ish.
Welcome,
Ish.
everybody. You
Ish is
are
good.
watching NWP on DannyBTalks. Our friend Jarrett is going to be stepping into more of a producer role this evening. He will have his duties when it comes to random driver, of course, but for the most part, Jarrett has what we're calling the suds, and he'll be kind of needing to take a step back from his lovely voice for a little bit this evening.
Trust me. I saw people saying that I had a cold. I wish I had a cold. I had the stomach flu, 103 fever. Was not having a good night last night.
Yeah, there was suds, all right. Those suds were around your stomach, it sounds like.
Yeah. The whole house got it, and no bueno. Not fun. But I'm better now. I have 98.6 temperature, so like I'm on a roll. We're good. We ball.
Well, that being said, hey everybody. Hey Eric, how you doing?
I'm good. Hope everyone out in internet world is feeling pretty nice on this Wednesday night. West Coast Swing wrapped up. Danny, you've got a nice new lid right there. That looks clean, representing the show nicely.
Nice new crisp hat. This is one of those Richardson snapback hats, kind of my style when it comes to hats. Fun fact, I was actually in Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend, home of my Vols, but I wasn't there for anything Tennessee sports related. I was at the Bassmasters Classic, my Super Bowl, if you will. Yeah, it was a great time. The expo at that place is always very awesome. Saw our good friend Champa Bay Beast from the chat in there. Saw him at the Bassmasters Classic again this weekend. Seen him down at Tennessee Florida game last year. It was a good time, and got a good deal on some hats. It was really nice. It was like you just paid the $25 for the hat. You pay a one-time $5 logo fee, and then they have it forever. You get anything else made, they've already got that. Just got to then pay for the patch that goes onto it. So all in all, it's like a $30 hat. Eric,
Custom.
I've got one for you.
I got one.
We got matching.
I just got this. I had Wife Berg have it for a little bit.
Oh,
I love it. I love
I've
it.
got
I love that
Shug's meowing behind me. I think he likes our hats right now.
Woohoo stuff.
Yeah, you like it, Shugs? I hear you meowing back there, buddy.
Did you get to see Ross Chastain? Was that in Knoxville this last week?
So yeah, Ross Chastain was there on Thursday. So it was before I got in town. They were doing, but my dad got to see it because they were doing a special celebrity tournament pro-am. So they took some of the pro anglers who were fishing in the classic, and they paired them up with some different celebrities. There was a bunch of football players there. Ross Chastain was there. Ross Chastain actually ended up winning it, the celebrity pro-am.
That's cool.
But I got to say I'm disappointed in Denny Hamlin. Now he did win at Las Vegas, and that's a great thing because it puts him 10th all time. But Denny, you were hyping up on your Instagram this fishing tournament that you were doing, which turned out to be a bunch of friends on Riley Herbst's pond That's a fishing tournament. When you went and let Ross Chastain win a celebrity bass fishing tournament sponsored by Progressive and you weren't even entered, Denny, what are we doing, my friend?
That's a missed opportunity right there. Next time. Well, now that when I don't know, Bass Pro Shops has to sponsor one of these, we need Denny to come in and burst Chase Briscoe's bubble or something. You know, he needs.
I think they were a sponsor too. That's a sad thing.
Oh, goodness gracious! Someone at JGR must have missed an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to complain to my contact over there who handles these partnerships. What are you doing, man? That should be written in the contract. Denny Hamlin fishes in a Progressive celebrity tournament. Anyways, let's talk about what Denny Hamlin actually did win this weekend. He won the race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and as mentioned, this gets him past Kevin Harvick in the wins list. It secures him 10th all time. Where do we feel like this puts Denny Hamlin in you know, all NASCAR drivers that we've seen, Eric? How do you feel like this win puts him, you know, where did he come in NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers a couple of years ago? Do we remember?
That's a great question, actually.
Because I would say this helps him rise. If he could get a championship, that would help him even more. But having at least top 10 wins, that's got to put him up there even more, right?
I mean, I think there's a case to be made. He's a top 10 Cup Series driver of all time. I think that was an exclusive list of like 4 or 5 legends he joined who have won a Cup race in 20 different seasons. Like, I think that is, you know, Denny Hamlin's peak perhaps was never as explosive as Jeff Gordon's peak or Jimmy Johnson's 5 in a row. Obviously, he never won 7 titles like Earnhardt or Petty. He never had a 27 win season like Richard Petty did. So his peak was never quite as high as those all-time greats, but the longevity, I think, is really what Denny Hamlin has going for him. His adaptability, we've talked about. He's been able to win races in different generations of cars with different crew chiefs. I mean, when he came into the Cup Series, Joe Gibbs Racing ran Chevys, so he's done it in different OEMs. I mean, the one constant has been Denny and the JGR 11, and so to see them have this success to win all these races, especially late in his career, is he's rising up the ranks. Jared, do you have where Denny landed all-time top 75? Where did NASCAR rank him a couple years ago?
I don't have the NASCAR one, but I actually have where we all did. I kept that document from like
3 years ago. Okay. Where did we rank him 3 years ago? 3 years ago, where did we rank Denny?
Who wants to guess where they put him?
I'm not sure if NASCAR actually has it in an order, if it just has the drivers like who they consider being there.
I bet I had him 16th.
Okay, I'll put 16 as your guess. Danny, where do you think you put him?
Probably 20. I don't know at this point anymore.
This was 3 years ago. Keep in mind, this was like, I don't know, a dozen wins ago or so.
So I had him 20th.
Okay.
Danny, you had him 18th.
Okay.
Eric, spot on 16th.
I know myself. What can I say?
So
Chat had him 20. Chat him 21st on our total list. He was 20th, and I was dumb and did not put these all in the whole order necessarily. Like I had them in driver order. But Kyle Busch at the time, for instance, we had 9th on the total list. Let's see. Bill Elliott was ahead of him in 17th. Let's see.
Yeah,
Harvick was
ahead
13th.
of Elliott. Yeah, I think so. Okay, you had Harvick was 13th. So I think that means Denny should be at least top 13, maybe top 12. I think that is becoming less controversial.
Ned Jarrett was 12th.
How many championships did Ned Jarrett win?
Oh,
I should know that. I don't off the top of my head. It's 1 or 2.
They'll let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Junior Johnson 15th.
Out for a second. Sorry about this.
Oh, Junior Johnson. Ooh, that's tough though. Well, Junior Johnson, he didn't win a championship either, right? As a driver.
No.
So no, I think Denny ahead of Junior, as legendary and iconic as Junior Johnson is and was. I think you got to go Denny over Johnson there.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Tony Stewart, we had 11th.
Ooh, that's a good debate. Tony Stewart,
3 championships versus that many wins, and
technically won them in 3 systems.
Yeah, with 2 different teams, one of them being a team he co-owned. I mean, I think Tony Stewart's the better all-around driver. When you factor in their entire racing careers, it's Tony by a landslide, I'd say. All due respect to Denny. When we just look at NASCAR,
I'm going to put Tony
man.
ahead still.
I think so too.
Gives me the edge.
Yeah.
Especially like Chase and full season era.
Denny had 3 Daytonas though, in an era when Daytona, it took some skill to win Daytona.
Here's another reason I'm going to put Tony ahead, and maybe one day he can change this. Tony not only won his 3 championships and in different systems, he won one of those as an owner driver. He won races as an owner driver. Denny is a driver who is an owner. He is not an owner driver.
Tony has 49 wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tony's at 49. So Denny's got 12 more wins, but Stewart's got 3. I'd go Stewart still for sure. Even in that, I think all around Stewart for sure. NASCAR, Stewart by a nose. But if Denny gets a chance, say if Denny wins it this year, or if he'd won it last year, which he probably should have, then I think it's an even closer fight.
If Denny had won a championship, it would be a little bit easier. But I will tell you this: Tony may have the 3 championships, but Denny also has 3 Daytona 500s, and I bet Tony wishes he had just one of those too.
Well, I think the more interesting debate is 14th place Rusty Wallace versus Denny Hamlin. Championship gives Rusty the edge. Denny has the edge and wins and 500s, but I think that would be the more interesting debate on that side. Either way, I mean those are amazing names.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good.
He's right around that top 10 mark. He's got to be.
He's 10th to 15th, I think, for sure. I think that feels pretty. I feel confident in saying that.
You get him a championship this year. Well, I don't even know if he'd come back next year or if he got it just right off into the sunset. But
if I was him, I would be like Peyton Manning, retire when you win the Super Bowl and just be done.
But that's the thing is like Denny, it's not like Peyton Manning that year where like Peyton was a game manager. Like Denny isn't just sort of dropping into wins still. He led over half the laps on Sunday. It didn't feel like it because of the mistake.
And he drove from 35th in the running order essentially to first in like 100 laps. Like that at a track where, I mean, it wasn't easy to pass guys on Sunday. So I know to your point, he is still at the top of his game. Like I was thinking about that. Like if Denny were to retire after this year, if he wins a championship, retires, as great as a story and send off as that is for the driver themselves, I hate when drivers leave when it's clear they're still at the top of their game. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's why it was hard for me to stomach Matt Kenseth getting, sort of replaced at Joe Gibbs Racing when he did. Not that Kenseth was at the top of his game, but he had just won a race. He was a playoff driver every year. The year before he was, a restart away from the championship for. It's like, man, Matt still had a little in the tank at that time.
I guess it's very much like Carl Edwards. You saw him step away when it didn't feel like it was time. And now even if Carl came back and said, "Hey, Colleague Racing, can I drive one of those Dodge trucks and try it out?" People would be hyped, but I wouldn't expect much out of it anymore.
Yeah. But like
Truex, now we're at the point where if Edwards was still around, we would have probably started to see a fall off from him as well.
Yeah, like I feel like Truex, Harvick, retired at the right time. They were still good. They were still factors, but they were clearly no longer at the top of their game. And so it was like, okay, but they didn't do the Richard Petty thing and stick around for years. And it sort of became like this extended farewell tour that maybe lasted a few too many cycles. So anyway, we're on a lot of different tangents here.
Well, and I'll kind of finish with a small point. Like the Petty one, I 100% agree with. Same with like Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, like those guys. I mean, if you started watching the sport in 2005, you'd think that those guys were scrubs, and they just weren't. The Labontes, that is. And like I as a junior fan, it's definitely a different way of the career ending, not necessarily fall off, but just sort of medical fall off with a driver. But even in 2016, like you could tell he's starting to slow down a little bit. He's a two steps maybe off of where he was the last 4 or 5 years, where he was perennially a top 3 to 5 guy in points. And so like, even at that point, you're kind of thinking, it's probably time to call it off. So I think that's the thing. I know he's putting that hard deadline and maybe he'll stick with it, but if he's still winning, 4, 5, 6 races a year in 2027. Like, how could you leave it back there on the table? If you can come back another year or two and still be at that top elite level, I mean, it's not like it was before, but there's always somebody that sort of is the opposite of the way that the trends are going. And the trends right now are probably mid 40s is when these guys really drop off. Denny hasn't. He's improved.
Yeah.
I keep saying, watch Denny if he's going to get where he's wanting to take a break from NASCAR. Watch him. He's going to start. He's going to get that fishing bug. Keep going. He's going to end up in Bassmasters one day. Watch it. Just saying.
He's already fishing during final practice at Daytona a couple weeks ago.
He'd have to work his way up and qualify from the ground level because that's just how it works in bass fishing. But I'd be up for watching that journey.
I'm not going to make the joke. It's too fresh. I was going to say he can't Cletus McFarland it in the Bassmaster world.
We're gonna get swarmed now.
Yep. Just had to do it. Hey, the show just started. We got to deliver some spiciness here to get people.
Have
you ever heard of like a good hook? You need a good lead.
I hear
Cletus is good for views.
Hendrick was pretty spicy, and they were leading a lot during this race, or at least near it. I mean,
Chase Elliott, I thought had winning speed, and haven't seen that consistently from him over the last couple of years. So that was encouraging.
And that there was that one part of the race, I think it was against Bell, where Elliott and Larson were 3 wide with him. And then Byron came up and bumps Larson to the lead. This, I don't think this race was necessarily like a barn burner by any means, but it had its awesome moments too. And that was definitely one of them. But I mean, those 3, like, we kind of worried after Phoenix. That's kind of where Hendrick has struggled before at those flat ovals.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look better than they did last year in total of those 3. I'm not counting the 48 because that's a whole nother talking point.
Sure.
But those 3, I think, honestly, those 3 looked better, I think, than last year. It's one race, but they always say this is kind of the litmus test race. I think they passed it.
Yeah, and obviously Hamlin being out of contention for a whole stage helped with this, but like William Byron led 26 laps, Kyle Larson led 62, and then obviously Chase wound up P2 running down Hamlin at the end, just ran out of time. So yeah, no, to your point, I feel like the Hendrick, the new body, at least for Hendrick, the new Chevy body has not seemingly thrown them for a loop. And you got to imagine as they wrap their arms around it and get even more data, they'll probably just get better as the year goes on. So I feel like even though they haven't won a race yet this year, they're the only OEM, the only kind of like big 3 team to not have a win this year. I feel like Hendrick and Chevy are still in a decent spot.
It may very well come this weekend at Darlington. Darlington's been a good track to them over the years.
It's all about managing tires this weekend. I mean, based on what we've heard going through. No, I'm genuinely impressed this early. I don't think we've seen Hendrick in total with those 3 be at this level this early. Like they've come on, like last year they came on a little bit, I would say, in the summer, especially like Chase Elliott started having speed, but all Elliott I think needed was probably 3 or 4 more laps, and he's by Denny Hamlin. I don't fall in. I saw some people saying this, but I don't fall into that camp that's like, nah, Elliott was just points racing. He wanted a good finish. Like, no, he was wheeling that sucker up there, and he was catching him a couple tenths a lap. That ain't points racing. I want to get that damn win racing.
If you can see yourself gaining on them that much, you've got a chance to do it. You ain't points racing. You're gonna get there if you can, but he just ran out of time.
I want to give a shout out to my boys at RFK Racing too. Chris Buescher 6th, Keselowski 10th, and Preece 11th. I think they were the 3 best finishing Fords on Sunday. Now, put an asterisk by that. Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric maybe had top 10 runs going, but they got caught on pit road during the Zilich Stenhouse caution. So they were pinned a lap down, had to wave, lost all their track position, so they couldn't fully recover. But still, I think, Joe Gibbs Racing, 23-11 have looked great this year. Hendrick still looks like their usual selves. The wins will come. But over at Ford, it's like, Blaney was great at Phoenix, but he's always great at Phoenix. RFK as a complete squad, I feel like has been pretty darn stout.
All 3 are in the chase right now.
They're 13th or better. I think all 3 of them are. So they're not championship contenders, I don't think. But I also would say, I don't think Joey Logano or Austin Cindric look like championship contenders. Ryan Blaney does. Ryan Blaney has consistently the last couple of years.
Joey Logano's
like-
going to go around of like winning all 10 races in the chase and win a championship.
I guess he could, but we haven't seen that in a long time from him. Like that kind of like we've seen him win the right races. We haven't seen him string together top five, like a dozen top fives in a row or anything like that. Whereas we have seen that from guys like Blaney, Larson, Hamlin, Bell, etc. So I think Ford's in an interesting place where they now have like 5 or 6 like good cars, but really only one guy who I feel like has a shot at the title at this point. But it's early. It's definitely really early.
And this is crucial early on for Brad Keselowski because I think he's only going to get better as the year goes on when he's more healed, when he's not probably in as much discomfort in the car that I don't care how good he is, has to take away a little bit from him.
He needs to just keep the cane all year. You'll never know if he's actually fully better. Even if he's 100%, he's intimidating you with the cane.
I gotta say though, I mean, it's early. Don't get me wrong. You know, we'll talk about it and we're talking about the points in a little bit, but I mean, he's in right now, and that's what matters. Putting yourself in position when everything sort of levels out after 9 to 12 races and that run into the summer, because Brad will probably get better. That's what he did last year. That's what he's done for other years. He gets better as the year goes on. Kind of talked about Tony Stewart earlier. He would be the same way. He might not start the greatest, but he turns it on and gets better when it really matters at the end. I gotta say though, Trackhouse was dookie. On the
flip side. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. They were not good. I think Ross in 17th was their best finishing car. You know, it got off to a bad start. Lap 1, SVG all but wrecks. Great save. But great save, but it seemed like maybe he damaged the splitter. It sounded like they thought rolling onto the flat, it kind of maybe bent something. He ran last all day. Zilich had his issues. The Stenhouse miscommunication on coming to pit road. I mean, that stuff happens. Connor's had quite a few welcome to the Cup Series moments this year. Shoot, even in the O'Reilly race Saturday, he slipped up on lap 1 and clobbered Jeremy Clements. Like he's a little tilted right now, you can tell. But these are the tests that young Cup Series drivers have to go through. You're suddenly no longer winning. You're no longer the fastest guy. How do you keep your wits about you and just string together solid performances? That's the test. That is the test he is now beginning. And boy, it's a gauntlet so far for Zilich. But yeah, Trackhouse not great.
We didn't even mention SVG ran last on speed too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was the splitter damage, but he was dropping like a rock already when that happened. Like he was already dropping off, had issues. Like
it's hard to I doubt he was really slower than Cody Ware. I think that was damage. But you're right. He probably didn't have a top 20 car. Like he probably runs 25th without damage.
What perplexes me on this is Ross Chastain last year. Yeah, he wasn't great, but the mile and a half were his bread and butter, where he was top 5, got that win in the 600. Like these are the races that Ross needs to gain points. And he was just a no-show speed-wise.
Someone else I want to talk about, looking at the point standings right now, Tai Gibbs has gotten 3 consecutive top 5s. Has he made a turn for the better? Or are we seeing a new invigorated Tai Gibbs this season?
So far, I mean, it seems like he's got a little fire under his ass due to the NASCOURT stuff.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I feel like, here's what I think. We just talked about Zilich needing to be mentally tough stretch right now. Can he rise above it? I think that has been Tai Gibbs's weakness, frankly, throughout his career. I think he's emotional guy. I think he rides the highs. He also dwells on the lows. I feel like if he does not get a win in these next couple of weeks, he's going to eventually have some off weekends. He's going to have a bad race here or there. I feel like if he doesn't get a win during this hot stretch where he has top 5 speed every single week, I feel like he may not win this year. Like, I feel like it has to come in the next 3 or 4 weeks. He might not win. Like, he might get back into, like, if I couldn't win then, I'm not going to win. Like, I could see, I feel like he's streaky is I guess what I'm trying to say. I feel like he's very streaky. And right now he's on a hot streak. If he doesn't win now, I don't know.
In his young career so far, the one track I think he's consistently seemed like a threat in some capacity is Bristol Motor Speedway, and that'll be here very, very, very soon. And let's not forget that he is in the 54, which ultimately replaced the 18, a very winning program at Bristol Motor Speedway. And I see a lot in the chat are all kind of agreeing that Bristol really stands out to be the shot to get Tai Gibbs that win.
I just think about like, and I know that Joe Gibbs Racing is better than Spire, but like May and June of last year, it felt like Carson Hocevar week after week was on knocking on that door of his first win. And then he had, engine failures or tire. And all of a sudden he had a couple bad finishes when you thought he was going to have good finishes. And then honestly, we didn't really hear from Hocevar the second half of last year. Like he was kind of not that good for 3 or 4 months. Yeah. So I just feel like Tai Gibbs is in a similar boat, better car than the 77 for sure. But I just feel like he's streaky. And if he does not capitalize on this current positive streak, then the slump that inevitably is going to happen at some point might go on for a while. I don't know. That's my theory. That's my bold prediction.
If Tai Gibbs, I'm just going to go with what the chat's kind of running with here. If Tai Gibbs could win his very first NASCAR Cup Series race at Bristol Motor Speedway, he may win it before then. We don't know. But if he could win his first one at Bristol Motor Speedway, he would join the likes of Dale Earnhardt Sr., Ernie Irvan, Rusty Wallace. Wait, these aren't correct, are they?
Are you thinking of drivers who got their first win at Darlington
or Bristol?
No, Bristol.
Oh, Bristol.
Dale Earnhardt got his first win in Bristol.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting thrown off because for some reason it's Google AI is glitching out. It's saying Rusty Wallace earned his first win All-Star at the track. Kurt Busch earned his first win All-Star at the track. These not all they didn't. I only had one All-Star race at this track. What are you talking about, Google?
So I don't trust AI.
But I do believe Kurt Busch and Elliott Sadler winning their first races at Bristol does make sense. I know Elliott Sadler for a fact.
Yeah.
So I want to also kind of get back real quick to the ones that kind of struggled. I know you don't want to talk about it, but the 48 team really reminds me of 2009, 2010, 88 team. Like that team, I get they have different drivers in it. I get Anthony Alfredo might not be the greatest, but that team was completely off when the rest of the three were running great. And I get he's not a cup level elite driver, but Justin Allgaier is a very capable driver. We saw what he could do in the 5, where by the time that race in the 600 got rained out, yeah, he was 14th, but he was running top 5 speeds and he was making his way up. And the fact that that team was so far off, and with multiple drivers now, it's easy to say it was all Alex Bowman's fault when he's running every race for the team or running a majority of the races for the team.
Feels like it's the car at this point. Like
I don't. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the team now at this point. With
there's
it. I mean,
always the 4th Hendrick car. It's always been a thing. Everyone, that some people might say that's an excuse, but for real, it's always been a thing. There is the 4th Hendrick car.
And I will add this: Allgaier had a speeding penalty in stage 1, so that maybe I think deflates the numbers a little. He qualified okay. I think he started like 21st, which isn't terrible. But no, you're right. I mean, as we talked about this, I think at the beginning of the season, is like there's always a 4th Hendrick car. It's very difficult to get 4 championship caliber cars on track, even in this current next gen era. 4 championship caliber teams. Like, are there like Hendrick Motorsports has 4 crew chiefs on their Cup Series roster? Are all 4 of them all-time greats? Like, no, like you're not going to hit on every single candidate that you sign. Not every piece of the puzzle is perfect. So, I think Alex Bowman historically has performed better than every other 4th Hendrick car in history. Yeah. So, no, I think to your point, like Bowman, which is why I said on my show the other day, everyone wants to replace Bowman in the 48. And yeah, if Tyler Reddick's available, he's better than Alex Bowman. I would say that. But are we sure Kyle Busch is going to do any better in the 48 right now than Alex Bowman is doing? That's
why I was telling Claudia, like, why are we just assuming we're going with an older driver who may also be at the tail end of his career? Is that a lateral move or what is that for Hendrick in that case? I know it's nostalgia. Get him back to Hendrick where he started, but is it really? I'm starting to wonder, is Hendrick backing himself into a weird wall where they're like, well, Kyle Busch would be a lateral. The young guys aren't ready. Do we just keep going with Bowman if he's healthy and can keep racing again? Because, feel bad about the way this season's gone now. Do we just bring him back now at this point?
Well,
it's kind of a weird place that they put themselves. And I see a lot of people in the chat who are all kind of in the same mindset. You know, Blake Harris, he was ultimately the replacement for Greg Ives, and Greg Ives was admittedly a good crew chief for Alex Bowman. A lot of times, some of his strategy, especially that 2021 season, helped them be in a place to get those 4 wins that year. And it's not been quite the same ever since Greg Ives stepped down, and maybe a change is needed in the crew chiefs. We kind of saw this. Jarrett, you alluded to that 2009-2010 run for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And when did he improve? When they made a big switch at all their crew chiefs, and they put Steve Letarte over of Dale Earnhardt Jr., took him off of Jeff Gordon and put him there with Dale Jr. And trust me, I've seen the people in your live chats, especially Jarrett, who are Chase Elliott fans, are like, "Oh man, Gustafson letting us down." If you don't want him, I would do anything to see Alan Gustafson get with Alex Bowman next year.
Yeah, and what's crazy too, though, is like I'm looking at the owner points right now, like to just kind of show where the 48's at. Of the teams that have earned points, these are the ones behind him: the JRM 40, Live Fast 78, NY Racing 44, Garage 66, car 2311 67, and the 33 of RCR. He's 36 in owners, or they're 36 in owners points. So it's just, I get if they were off, they had a difficult start at the super speedways, but the team started turning it a little bit. This team, I mean, even before Bowman got out of the car, when the symptoms of vertigo got really bad, they weren't running good. They were running in the 30s. And that's a track that Alex Bowman was a perennial top 10, top 5 threat at. So I think a complete overhaul needs to be done, whether that's just crew chief and all supporting cast, driver, whatever it might be. Something needs to be done with them, just because it's not the standard of Hendrick. Speaking of standard, what do we think of the racing, by the way, like at Vegas? Because I think this was definitely one of the weaker mile and a halves of the next gen era.
Admittedly, I was driving back, obviously from Knoxville, from the fishing tournament, so I was just more or less listening. But I really don't think I missed a whole lot. It sounds like, other than just listening to the race.
It had its great moments. I mean, I think Las Vegas in general has been probably the worst or the least interesting of the traditional mile and a halves the last few years. It's still put on some good racing. I love that there's really like 3 usable lanes. I mean, like when Denny Hamlin was having to come through all that traffic in stage 2, he could pick his lane and kind of just carry the momentum and make moves, which, I mean, you need to be able to do that with this car, or else the aero is so bad. So, I mean, it's a fine race. It was just average. It just didn't have, I think, because, Tai Gibbs and Denny Hamlin both had speeding penalties and had to come from the back, because, Chase Briscoe had a penalty. Like, I think you sent several of the best cars to the back. And so for a lot of the race up front, it was like, oh, Christopher Bell is just clearly the best car left. Or, oh, Kyle Larson is just going to lead a bunch of laps here. Like, I feel like it took a while for the real contenders to get back to the front. And then once they did, I thought some of those restarts late were pretty exciting. But yeah, it's just an average race. I don't know. Maybe they'll, after this year, they'll decide, let's just put 750 horsepower everywhere. Maybe that's what's next.
That's where I was thinking with it. It was like, yeah. And even if they can't do it everywhere, if they want to use Vegas as the test for that, because Vegas has been the weaker of the mile and a halves. Like, I obviously put Homestead, Charlotte, Kansas ahead of it for mile and a halves. And this might be a hot take. Half the time I'd put Texas ahead of it.
Texas is more interesting. It's not necessarily a better race, but it's more interesting.
The thing is, this race, and again, you can have your bangers and great runs and finishes like last fall, but this race to me felt much closer than I'm comfortable with to a 550 race. It had its moments, but there were a lot of times where people got blocked up with aero, or they got bogged down, or you'd see like that bubble of air form up. And I'm not comfortable with being anywhere close to 550. So I'd be willing to give 750 a shot and try some of the aero changes, like with the short track package. If the racing isn't better, at least you tried it.
Yep. Speaking of things that were tried, a argument fight whatever you want to call it, tried to happen with Suarez and Chastain this weekend? What do we make this? And did we ever find out who that lady was?
A PR person at Trackhouse.
She was not dressed like a PR person, so I really couldn't tell. I thought it was like someone's mom out there. I really couldn't tell.
I saw Gluck and Bianchi talking about on a clip talking about her and that she knows Daniel, and that's why she got in the middle because she was able to de-escalate it.
She's the work mom.
Pretty much. It was pretty much like, oh, great, I have to punish the kids now.
Yeah.
That's basically, from the sound of it, what it was like. I wish they would have fought. I hate talking about these woulda, coulda, shoulda fights. It's just so lame.
Yeah.
It's like,
I didn't need them to fight. I think I think the interesting part of all this was the revelation that, oh, they don't like each other and haven't liked each other for a couple of years now. Like, I think, a lot of Trackhouse fans, if you've been watching closely, obviously knew the Suarez relationship was becoming strained as he was in a contract year, then got all that. But to know that he and Chastain haven't seen eye to eye in quite some time, I think that was somewhat intriguing. I mean, the comments after the race, Suarez called Chastain two-faced. Chastain then came out a couple days later and said, well, in my opinion, Suarez doesn't take enough accountability. It's like, ooh, okay, those are like deep cuts. Because I think there is an argument to be made. Ross, he's kind of an enigma. When you hear him talk, you're never always 100% sure what he's thinking. He's kind of sneaky in that way. And then Suarez, at the same time, we've seen it time and time again. Every time he leaves an organization, it's the same song and dance. They didn't give me what I needed, to be successful. So I'm going somewhere where the grass is green. It always feels like it's,
Matt's
I'm not going to say he's not a little bit, he's not making excuses. I mean, kind of is, but it's,
I still say if there was ever a
Yeah.
driver I'd like to see go down to the O'Reilly series and run the JRM9 because it's not got a full-time driver, it's Daniel Suarez. I'm still open to seeing that next year because it sounds like it's just a 1-year deal, and who knows who's going to drive that car next year.
Yeah, because as far as what happened on the track at Vegas, nothing happened on the track. They just raced each other. I didn't really see anything during the race that warranted any sort of confrontation. The Chastain swerving at Suarez after the race, that seemed unnecessary too. It all just seemed unnecessary, it really just seemed like they were looking for an excuse to hash things out now that they're no longer teammates.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. And that's the interesting part to me is that, oh, wow, they really don't like each other. Okay, wow.
It would have been such a fun fight. It
would have been evenly
Suarez is a
matched.
scrapper. Yeah, they're about the same body type and size. Suarez is a scrapper. He took down Michael McDowell, which is a big man. And then he went head to head with Ryan Newman and didn't back down, which is not something many drivers have been able to say. I was at the race where Chastain socked Noah Gregson, and he was ready. I mean, that would have been. He's got that farmer strength, man. That would have been a fun fight. And the funny part is we have the biggest non-argument. I wasn't able to watch your video, Eric, but I hope you talked about this. I was like, where Suarez is like, well, I would have been penalized this amount of money, but I'm like, really, outside the Stenhouse deal in the last few years, nobody really gets fined for fighting right after a race. I don't believe that Ross did after the Kansas race.
Yeah. No, you basically, I'm glad we had the same thought, because that was what my video today was about. Was I literally went back and looked at the last, 8 or 9 scuffles, and the only 2 that got any sort of penalty, because you're right, Chastain punching Gregson. Remember when Noah started swinging at Daniel Hemrick a few years ago?
Yeah.
No fines for either of those. The only 2 instances that warranted fines were when Matt Crafton allegedly sucker punched Nick Sanchez, and when Stenhouse premeditatedly waited 2 hours to fight Kyle Busch. So if you do it heat of the moment on pit road, to your point, Jerry, you don't get fined for that. So I think drivers have the wrong impression of what NASCAR views, how NASCAR views fights. Obviously, nobody wants to get hurt. NASCAR's not going to come out and say, we want fights, because if somebody does get hurt, that looks bad on them. And they're trying to give up. It's a family sport. They're trying to, they don't want to be too crazy, too out there. But at the end of the day, if you fight on pit road right after the race, NASCAR's not going to do anything. They haven't. Their actions speak louder than their words. They've not penalized anyone in years, to my knowledge, for fighting on pit road immediately after the race. So
if we have some more fights, does that kind of play into our little hell yeah thing we're doing this year?
Hell yeah.
Very well could.
Get him, Ross.
Get him.
Have a little fun with the chat here. Who would win in a fist fight, Ross Chastain or Daniel Suarez right now?
Oh gosh,
it's a decent lead for Ross Chastain. They're going to Florida man over Mexican man.
Florida man is worth a few points. That's true, but I still feel like Suarez has the stronger win. Like I think getting McDowell on the ground is more impressive than bopping bullheaded Noah Gragson. That's my take.
What's if Suarez fighting people who either were or eventually become his teammates?
Yeah, that's weird. The Daniel Suarez conflict circle is very tight, apparently.
If you guys want, I got some of the points set up.
Oh, yeah.
If we want to see who's there.
I'm glad we actually get to think about points this year because they matter.
Oh,
so I think that when for a lot of the year, there's going to be two lines to look at, and I think the first one is definitely the regular season champ, and then the cutoff. I got to say, I know it's 5 races in, but Bubba Wallace still sticking up there. Had another solid run at Las Vegas. 10. Yeah, I mean, this is easily the best start of Bubba's career, and he usually gets better as well as the year goes on. So
true.
I got to say, Bubba is the one that stands out to me on this page.
Yeah, Bubba has 4 top 10s. I think that's
no top 5s though. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right about that. His worst finish though is 11th.
Yeah, so he should have, probably even won Atlanta, but it wasn't a top 5 because he made that stupid block. That
he threw a bad block. The name that stands out, you already talked about him, so I'll make it quick, is Brad Keselowski. Like, to your point, like I think maybe I was the only one here that did not pick him to make the chase. And my only reasoning was I'm worried about the first 5 weeks with his leg injury, nursing that back to health. And he has actually done really well the first 5 weeks. So I'm eating my words here. He is off to a much better start than I suspected.
And I mean, I'll throw to Tai Gibbs. I would not expect Tai Gibbs to be coming off 3 consecutive top 5s and climbing his way up the points ladder. If he can find a way to get a win, then I will feel very good about Tai Gibbs, for sure being in this year's chase.
Well, and the top 8, I mean, outside of Chase Briscoe, like those are the 8 that we're expecting. Okay, I won't say maybe Bubba, but like 7 of those top 8 are the ones we're expecting to run for the regular season title. And Bubba Wallace would probably be around that 8th or 9th range. I think last year even got as high as 6th or so in points. So we're already seeing the best guys rise up. Now it's about expanding their points lead over the rest of the pack, which we have here. I gotta say, Shane Van Gisbergen, I should say, dropping to 16th. He had an 18-point gap in 5th.
That has shocked me.
Well, and now an 18-point gap, if I can find where it's at. Yeah, 18 points now is the difference between 11th and 17th instead of 5th and 17th. So starting to see that stretch out of the points there, but SVG's tumble stands out to me.
I don't know how far down the points you have, but I'll just ask you both this without looking, because I'm looking. We know Alex Bowman is the worst of, quote, full-time drivers because he's not really full-time anymore. Do you know who the actual new worst of the full-time drivers is in points right now?
It's Zilich, right?
Yeah.
Yep, it's Zilich. Yeah. He is 205 points back. So Alex Bowman, that'd be something I'd be curious to see if Bowman can come back and he runs like a Hendrick car should. Could he pass some of these guys? I wonder now. Because at this point, since he's out until Bristol, like Chase is out the window. Even if he won 8 or 9 races in a row, I don't think it could happen.
I think looking at this page, the biggest surprise, I think one of the more pleasant surprises has actually been Zane Smith, because he's only 9 points out of a chase spot, but I feel like there's been a race or two where he got kind of hosed and could probably have an additional 20 or 30 points. And I'll also mention AJ Allmendinger. I know he's been super speedways and a road course, but with no factory support whatsoever, to be still top 20 is pretty impressive from AJ.
And tied too with SVG and Suarez. I mean,
he's technically in almost. He's kind of in at this point. Borderline.
It just goes off the best finish at that point, which SVG finished second at COTA, so that does it for him.
That's the thing about SVG, losing all those points, all those positions after this week's bad run. Like all of a sudden, like when he finished second at Coda, we were all like, he still got some stage points. It's still good. And hey, he was sixth at
Isn't he
Atlanta.
like?
He was good.
Isn't he like strangely good at Darlington?
He might be. I don't know. But
I
like
thought he
we
was
were all
pretty
kind
bad
of like
last year.
I
we
don't.
were kind of dismissed it. Like he didn't win Coda, but that's all right. You can't win them all. He still had a good day. Now you're like, now that he's 16th, you're sitting here like, man, Coda maybe was a missed opportunity. Like he could have used those 15 more points. Ugh.
Well, I thought 20 more from 35 for second, 55 for a win. So that would
20,
put him instead of 16th right on the line. That'd put him plus 20 at 11th over Joey Logano, Brad Gay. Like, is it hyperbole to say that he needs to win all three of the remaining road courses to make the chase? Because if he's,
even if he wins them, if he's not doing good enough on the others, I don't know at this point.
Because he would have made it under this system last year with the wins. But if I'm not mistaken, there were more road courses and he got more wins. So
like 6 and that is 4.
Yeah,
he probably needs to win out. I think he can make it by winning 2, but I think he needs to win 2. And you never, he could win Daytona or Talladega. Those are on the table, possible. I'd give him a shot, a fighter's shot. He needs at least 2 wins, I think, to make the chase.
I've got SVG's average finishes pulled up, and shockingly, his top 6 are all road courses. Are you guys surprised? I bet you're just flabbergasted, jaws on the floor right now.
Dumbfounded, you might say.
His next best average finish, which he's only ever ran one race there, is Richmond with an average finish of 14th. After that, it's Kansas 15, Michigan 18, Indianapolis 19, Martinsville 20. When we start getting into that point, it's like not a lot standing out there where your average finish isn't in the mid to high teens. That's not a good sign here, SVG.
Yeah. When I say coming in there, he needs to average a 20th place finish on the ovals and then win at least 3 road races. And so, that's kind of where he's at, I think.
He said he needs to average a 20th place finish on oval. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks where his average finish is 20th or better.
The hope is he just keeps getting better because then, his first time to a lot of those places was bad. Like early last year, he was running 35th on the regular. So you're hoping he gets better and those numbers improve, but we'll see. We'll see.
Darlington is an average finish of 26. He does have 1 top 20 there.
That was probably his, if I had to guess, that was his second trip there. That'd be my guess. I don't know that.
Probably.
But maybe not. Anyway.
But what we get this week in the TV rating side?
What did we get? That's a really good question. And by the way, that was his second one. I wanted to confirm that for Darlington.
Heck yeah. He's going to win his third trip. Just kidding.
Well, he's already had his third one.
Oh, his fourth time's the charm. I don't know.
The race on FS1 got a 1.44 rating and 2.771 million viewers, which is down 3% and 8% year over year. This race was on FS1 because the Fox was reserved this weekend for a combination of basketball and the Bassmasters Classic, which was nice to see those guys get. It's the first time they ever put them on Big Fox, so I enjoyed seeing that they did that for them. Fox Sports has seen a 26% increase, however, in the 18 to 34 demographic year over year.
Yeah, and they were touting that last week too, which I don't remember if we talked about on the show or if it was in our group chat. We're trying to figure out like what changed last year to this year to suddenly bump up the younger demo. Like, is it Connor Zilic? Is it the hell yeah? Is it Cletus? Maybe it's just Cletus. But obviously it's not translating to overall numbers yet, but that is encouraging that there's a few more younger folks tuning in. That is encouraging, especially for races on cable. Like that's noteworthy.
Good note though, CW for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series, it got a 1.188 million viewers, which is actually up 10% year over year, and it is the best Las Vegas Napa. Right. Why did I say that for? NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Sorry, Chase Elliott. You guys are not, your sponsor is not going to partner up with this series right now. It was the best viewership for this race in 5 years. Viewership actually peaked at 1.430 million at the finish of that race.
Good stuff.
What about our poll?
It's a good question. For Jarrett's famous poll, 11,000 people voted. 10% said it was a great race. 54% said it was a good race, giving this race 64% net positivity. 31% of people said it was an average race, and 5% had a negative opinion on this race. So, yeah, I think that kind of about runs in line with how we felt about this. It wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't anything that stood out either.
Well, this was 11th of 14 Vegas races I've polled, and the lowest voted race so far this year, 40th of 60 mile and a half since we started the poll. Timothy had the first comment. Is it positive, negative, or meme?
Timothy, that's an interesting one. I don't feel like we usually see a Timothy. So I'm going to say this is a negative opinion.
I bet it was positive. Good vibes.
All caps. Commercials.
I'll take it as a negative.
They were pretty bad.
Never gotten one of those predictions right. Not once. I need to start cheating and looking before the show.
Lawpug says, as someone who lost their dad, who was my best friend, and at a much younger age than Denny, it's incredibly hard to figure out how to keep going when the person you relied on your whole life is gone. Your dad is smiling down upon you, Denny. You've made him more than proud, which I will 100% agree with that part. And that is beautiful.
And getting to see his family there to celebrate because they weren't there in October. That was really, really cool. So yeah, hard not to be, hard not to have a soft spot, at least for that moment.
Mom, especially being there, because, you know, there was a brief period where we didn't know her condition either, you know, after all that happened.
That got me because it's just like, you know, how can you not melt when your mom is like that overcome and happy for you and that to you? It's just at a human level, it's just that got to me. That was like,
ultimately, that's
right
why I chose the picture of them in Victory Lane as this week's thumbnail. I just had to.
Dunkachino says, that's the kind of race I grew up with in the mid-2000s. Solid run, no shenanigans. So positive. Silas says, Hamlin and Elliott have now finished 1-2 8 times, both tied with 4 wins apiece against the other.
That's interesting.
Let's see. I knew I was going to have problems pronouncing this. I think it's Iofgy. It's AIOFHGY. Says, I switched from PRN to Fox the last few laps, and the excitement literally deflated. I guess this was probably Fox's worst broadcast of the year. Mike Joy flubbing up. The 2 drivers, you could tell were off because of that. The commercials, like, I was not a fan. SKRE Inc. says, Denny Hamlin just kicked Kevin Harvick out of the top 10 all-time wins list. And then the gutter comment this week from Twister here, who says, it was objectively an awful race. I don't know if I've seen Twister put a positive comment on any of the polls for a while now.
Remember that.
Never really even thought to say this, but hearing him say about knocking Harvick out of top 10, our chat should be very happy. Cheater boy Harvick has finally been put in his place.
Yep.
How about that O'Reilly race with the Laguna?
Larson coming seemingly out of nowhere to just take it from everybody. And I felt so confident when I was about my Allgaier pick. He dominated a lot of that and ultimately just fell off at the end. He wasn't there at the end and still kind of mad. I had that. And then I went back and looked and I picked Logano last week in that Cup race. I had Hamlin right there. Didn't take him. None of y'all took him.
Well, the part with Larson that I kind of mentioned after the race was that, to me, that felt like the difference between a Cup driver and a bunch of O'Reilly drivers is the bottom line got going on that restart. And as soon the moment Larson was clear, he jumped up to the outside as a slower car up front was bogging down the bottom lane, got the lead. That's the difference between a Cup veteran and a bunch of O'Reilly drivers, in my opinion.
Yeah, just he had the confidence to make those moves in that moment to get the track position. And then once he got the track position, and he's Kyle Larson in a JRM car, he's not looking back. So yeah, no, good deal. Congrats to Kyle Larson. He looked at the top 5 in that race. I think it was Chase Briscoe finished second. He had to overcome a lot as well. So had to overcome a lot all year. So ultimately it was the Cup guys 1-2 at the finish, even though they did not dominate during the day. And that's because the O'Reilly regulars were too busy punting each other out of position. That was the Sheldon Creed versus Taylor Gray moment. Jared, I know you're kind of the Taylor Gray guy on this show, but can I just say, at some point, man, he's going to take a stand, and I hope everyone just sort of accepts it, because he's been the ball way more than he's been the bat the last couple of years. He's been robbed of 2 Martinsville wins, just punted twice. And then here, I don't think he did anything wrong. Yeah, he threw a block. He's also going for the lead. He had a nose to the inside of Corey Day trying to take the lead, and Sheldon Creed just drove right through him and took him out. So Taylor Gray, man, to Creed's credit, he sort of took the blame afterwards, said, hey, yeah, I didn't mean to race him like that. He owes me one. So to Sheldon Creed's credit, very self-aware, respect. But yeah, Taylor Gray, if he punts the 00 a couple times here at Martinsville or Bristol coming up, I think he has every right to. And I just hope fans are like, Taylor Gray at some point, man, he's been taken advantage of way too many times.
So I keep thinking and saying, like, I think towards the end of the year that he gets better. Like he improves. All, like, whether it's in trucks, whether it's in O'Reilly, that the numbers aren't going to show it because of things like this. But in my opinion, he is a dark horse sleeping giant when it comes to championship. I don't have to put him as a favorite. I won't go that far, but he's got the equipment. He's showing the improved talent. And as long as things like this don't happen as much, I am very confident in how far that 54 team can go this year. I know the points don't show it. I know the results don't show it, but they've been a lot better than both have been put up this year.
Yep. All right. Well, with that being said, I guess we can move on to a super chat stage break here.
Yeah.
How about it?
Spencer Purcell starting us off as he became a member for 57 months, or he has been a member for 57 months. And he said he had a fun time at the track last weekend.
Good deal.
Nice. The Sloth Nerd, appreciate the $2 from you. This is an interesting question. Besides Alex Bowman and Austin Cindric, who would possibly drive the number 2 in 2027? Because at this point, I think people think Austin Cindric probably comes back. If he doesn't, Alex Bowman may be a good, viable option, and I would be interested in seeing him at Penske Racing. Another person who stands out to me, hey, he drives that number in O'Reilly right now. Why not go snipe out Jesse Love if he's not going to have a Cup Series opportunity? Why not just keep him in the number 2? That's a possibility.
I'd like Jesse Love in that seat. I feel like more realistically, they could do what they did with like Blaney sort of and promote the guy in the 21, move Josh Berry over. But I don't think Josh Berry's done anything to justify that promotion, but you never know. Or, isn't there a relationship with Carson Quapple? Was that ever confirmed? I don't know if jumping him straight into the 2, the flagship 2, would be a smart move. But hey, if Penske's desperate, if they want to go cheap, there you go. That could be an option.
Yeah. Joshua Boston, appreciate the very generous $20. Appreciate that, Joshua. At what point do we draw the line of NASCAR fights? Even in the heat of the moment, it is not at all okay to throw hands or even threaten another driver's family like Kurt Busch did to Jimmy Spencer in 2003 at Michigan. That's definitely a strong line to set right there. You don't do that.
That's a bridge too far, I think, for sure. I think there's a difference between doing that and then, shoving another driver who ran you into the wall on pit road. I think those are two different things.
I like fights. We need more fights. Fights are fun.
See, I can always think, you talk about defending the family and stuff like that. I always think back to that classic Bob Keselowski moment. Carl Roach, he ain't gonna kill my boy. That was a classic gateway moment right there. Joshua Boston, again, another $5 from you. Appreciate that. My biggest concern is that post-race altercations will be more commonplace if we let them continue in an anarchical way. I don't think it'll be too much more than what we already see.
I'm fighting.
Inmates are running the asylum. Wasn't that a line that that NASCAR used in the courtroom? I don't remember if they did.
Something like that.
I think so.
Clipso, appreciate the $4.99 from you. What does Clipso say? Remember when I sold a ballast from the 48 at Charlotte, so my son and Satan could win the championship in 2024? Now I have to ask myself, what have I done? Exactly. What have you done? You robbed him in 2024.
Oh,
You
it's
gave
3
us the
minutes.
worst possible option. That's 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's 3.
You can do a few more if you want, because
Let me
we're
do
ahead of
two-
schedule.
Let me do a couple more. Bailey Riker, appreciate the 4.99 from you. Honestly, sucks that JRM didn't do one throwback to Michael Net this weekend. Yeah, especially considering that they have a pilot car. That would have been a nice tribute. Joshua Boston, appreciate the $5 from you. We'll be turning 27 on Friday as we head into Alumni Week at Darlington and in preparation for the Goodyear 400 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, only on FS1 and MRN. Well, very happy birthday to you, Joshua. Appreciate that. Michael Waltrip, sad Danny die noises. If there is one person who's sad, it's got to be Michael Waltrip right now. Hunter Nixon Fishing, appreciate the very generous $19.99 from you. It's hard for me to feel bad for Suarez considering he's been giving more than enough opportunities to prove he is a great driver, and he hasn't. I agree with Ross. There is no accountability when it comes to Suarez to me. Yeah, this is kind of exactly the point I think you were making, Eric. Like, he's had so many opportunities at this point.
But what would Julia
Yeah.
say?
Yeah,
Y'all see that tweet?
Hey, make sure you
tag
add her if you're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Whoa. I hope she's watching so she
See,
can hit us up.
I love
Julia. Listen up.
I love the people who are like, this is so wrong to say something to a wife or a girlfriend of a driver. And I'm normally I'd agree, except when you start throwing barbs into the public square, expect one back.
Oh, she'll take it on. She's not
She's
gonna
a
back
great
down.
woman. She'll
Don't
fight her
poke the
fight.
bear that is the internet, because it always pokes back. We're going to end off with one last one here from Hunter Nixon Fishing, just to make it even with him. Yeah, appreciate the $5. He says, I've got Hamlin 12th all time. I'm not putting him ahead of Smoker Harvick. I'm sorry. That's pretty fair. And again, between the two of those drivers, that's 4 championships between Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart there, and that's completely fair in all honesty.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll pick back up with Justin Drake when we come back. But in the meantime, Jarrett, do you remember the other night we actually went into a tornado warning? Do you remember that?
Oh,
Yeah, I remember. I had to stay up all night watching.
Yeah, it was very brief. We had a tornado warning, but it's been freezing cold ever since then. It was actually in the 30s, but it's warmed back up, and I think they've just issued an alert for a lightning round in our area.
Yes, they have. Yeah. Like we've talked about before, there is the NWP channel where we connect all of our episodes to. So if you miss them, that's always the place to go to on your subscription feed. Hollywood writers have begun meeting with NASCAR teams as well as driver Kyle Busch, informing the plot for the upcoming Days of Thunder 2 via Adam Stern. Alex Palou has said that he is 100% open to driving in NASCAR as long as Chip Ganassi allows him to. So that's pretty cool to see. Prime will be putting all 4K content behind an added paywall. This also includes 4K NASCAR broadcasts. So you'll still be able to watch a NASCAR broadcast with a basic Prime plan, but it won't be as crisp and beautiful as it was last year. Good news, Wall Stadium in New Jersey will return as a NASCAR local series track this year. So that is really good news for the local track scene. And then next week on March 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be on Eric's channel, which I believe he's that way, past Danny over there. We will be live on there, and that does it. That is the lightning round. Quick one.
I remember when like 720p used to look like super crisp, clear HD. And now I'll go back and watch like old YouTube videos in 720p, and maybe YouTube's just like buffering them or throttling them or something, but like they look blurred. Like I swear 720p used to be clearer than it is now.
It used to look amazing.
What is the science behind that?
Well, I mean, like, I think HD, like the first HD race was 07 Daytona 500. And I remember Fox made this huge deal about it, and it was cutting edge, this huge deal about HD. And now, like, you look back at that race and, like, Vody re-uploaded it. It looks good. But, like, when you look at it compared to Prime and 4K, you're like, damn, that's insanely different.
But then you got, like, NASCAR where we'd be like, hey, look at all these 2001 Texas clips, and they're in the most picture-perfect thing you've ever seen in your life.
That footage is insane. I don't know how they had such clear sideline clips of that. I feel
like maybe I don't know, because I don't know how you get footage from that old to look that good. is there even a possibility? Don't hate on me for saying the word. Is there any kind of AI conversion that can make it look a little bit crisper? I don't know.
You can upscale stuff. Like I know like DVDs and like VHS tapes, you're able to make it look clear. And it basically what the technology does is it is kind of an AI, but it does fill in like where it would see the gaps in like
So it's not
pixels.
AI slop per se.
No, like there's actual effort put into it, and you have to have
AI
the human
slop
component.
exists in Fox promotions and the Hardys promotion for Bubba Wallace's car.
Yeah.
Sloppy seconds.
We're gaining that 18 to 34 demo, and so what do? We do the thing that the 18 to 34 demo hates the most and slap it on up. Like AI is not like that 55 and up audience for the most part either falls for it or doesn't care. But like 18 to 34-year-olds, if you ask them wide scale, and I think us included with a lot of those, like we hate it. The Gen 4 through 7 Joey Logano car with Auto Trader spelled wrong and a 22 on the gas cap.
With the thick Gen 6 tires.
And the 2002 Monte Carlo spoiler on the back. It's so bad. Yeah, we could be on this for a while. We do have headlines. We have a lot of headlines this week.
Headlines.
Playoffs.
Sorry, I was just trying to wake people up if anyone was like, had started to tune us out. I'll do that with podcasts. I'll start getting to work on something else and it'll become background noise. And then they'll say something outrageous. And I'm like, what was that? I'm locked back
it up, homeboy. What'd you just say?
So hopefully everyone's locked back in now for the headlines.
All I'm thinking of with that is I think it was it I can't remember what the Family Feud I think it was with Steve Harvey where he naked grandma. And I remember the first time I ever heard that. I'm like, what the hell?
By the way, I didn't get a chance to see him. Steve Harvey was randomly at the Bassmasters Classic this weekend.
Did he have like that blank stare at one point where he's just?
No, I think he was all smiles for the most part. He had on a nice like hunter green Bass Pro Shops jacket. He looked like he was having a good time.
Good deal.
Well, we know who probably is.
First headline. Oh, NASCOURT. Is that where we're starting? Touch on NASCOURT.
Everyone but the lawyers are not having a good time.
Where's my gavel? It's not. Oh, it's on the other side of the room. I wasn't prepared for this. That's okay. All we really, there's some new stuff today I haven't had the chance to read, so I'll be completely honest. Gabehart, since last week, not Gabehart. Spire responded. Jeff Dickerson responded, and he was obviously saying things from the Spire perspective, claims they don't have any of JGR's data. They've never asked for it. He claims they don't need any of JGR's information. I think the most interesting thing was that those photos the private investigator took of Jeff Dickerson and Chris Gabehart having lunch. It turns out they were having lunch in like plain view of everyone in the industry, literally right outside of like one of Toyota's big headquarters. Like it's just funny. They weren't really being sneaky at all, but it's like they did meet back in December. So we'll see where that goes.
Are you even trying?
One of the other interesting details we can just touch on was Jeff Dickerson alleges that Joe Gibbs Racing did not hold up their end of a supposed like trade of sorts. There was a whole deal. Remember when Spire hired Rodney Childers and Cheddar Smith, some of the Stuart Haas guys, to work on the 7? Well, apparently JGR also wanted Cheddar Smith. And so Dickerson, he says it was out of the goodness of his heart, essentially, decided to tell Gibbs, hey, if you make him an offer and he accepts it, we'll trade him to you essentially for an engineer or someone in return. And so that's exactly what happened. Gibbs made Smith an offer. He accepted. He went over to the 54 car. And so Spire was like, all right, can we have like one of your car chiefs in return? And apparently JGR said no. Spire even said, oh, well, you can just pay us $100,000 and that's fine too. And JGR didn't do that either. So I don't know if there was ever any real framework of a deal in place, how enforceable this supposed trade agreement was, but it's something that Jeff Dickerson and Spire weren't happy about. It's still just kind of going. Gibbs is still trying to get a temporary restraining order. I'm not sure if that was decided on this week. I haven't caught up today on whatever the latest is, but they're trying to, basically say, hey, he can't work at Spire until this all gets figured out because we don't want any of our information potentially getting into Spire's hands anyway. So it's messy. That's the high in the sky, 1,000-foot view rundown of what's happened in the last 5 or 6 days.
Chat's
But,
making fun of this name. Cheddar Smith. What's next? Gouda Davis. Mozzarella Williams is a far better engineer.
That's funny. His name's Robert, I think. Robert Smith, but he would go by Cheddar. Didn't it used to say Cheddar on the back of his uniform when he was on Harvick's car? I feel like I remember seeing the Cheddar, and it was always like, who's that guy? And that's when the legend of Cheddar Smith was born.
It should have been working for Kyle Busch. Just always have Cheddars on there.
See, when I was reading through some of it, the Robert Smith thing threw me off because that was an old Vikings running back, was Robert Smith, back like in the 98 team in the 90s, early 2000s.
Well, he's implicated in this whole scheme, Jared. I don't know how to tell you this.
Damn, we can't stop losing. First we draft 9, now this.
There we go. Mike Swiss Bliss.
Oh,
jeez. Yeah, they're really, no, obviously, I don't think we've 100% caught up, but it doesn't sound like there's any groundbreaking things. I look on Reddit, because they're a good aggregator, and they don't have anything really that big from today, per se.
I think we can probably move off the NASCAR because the chat's just making cheese jokes at this point. We got Pepper Jack Smith.
Well, I mean,
what is your favorite cheese? Hold on, before we move on, what's you guys' favorite cheese?
That's a really good one.
I think I like just a classic, like sharp cheddar. I'd go that route. Simple.
Feta count?
Feta's, yeah.
Amelia loves goat cheese, but yeah, I like feta. I like, what I do is I'll make an omelet. I get spinach, and some onions, and then some feta, and I mix it all together in an omelet, and stuff tastes great and it's pretty healthy.
I'm laughing at Brad Queso-Lowski in the chat.
Sorry. Colby Jack is pretty good because it's kind of got that mix of a little bit of white and yellow cheese into it.
That's good. I like that too. All good choices. There are very few bad cheeses. That's not true, probably. There's probably some really god-awful stinky cheeses out there.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we can move on. Yeah.
Thank you for coming to NAS Cheese.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, what do we got next? I'm sure you'll love talking about it.
Please.
Hats off. Oh, no.
Join me for a moment of silence for us Alex Bowman fans. And let us pray for our brother to get back to us very soon. Lord, we come to you today to ask you to put your healing hands on Alex Bowman. Amen. But in all seriousness, man, this just sucks, man. Seeing his career in this stage right now. Jarrett, you mentioned it feels similar to 2009, 2010 Dale Jr., but
with the team,
yeah, but I'm about to say it's starting to scare me. Like feels like 2016 Dale Jr. now to an extent.
As a junior fan, I can't help but notice it. Like it's a cruel twist of irony so far, and the more it happens, the less I feel confident that like he gets back next year, but 2 that he gets back to a good level.
He's had how many health scares now in the last how many seasons?
So at minimum in the last 5 years, he'll miss 13 races if he comes back after missing the next 3.
He's only 32 years old. This is insane that he's had this many health issues. And I know he gets out and he'll race sprint cars, and he had one crash that hurt his back, messed him up pretty good. But other than that, it's not like he's out there doing anything too crazy that I can gather. It's just it really sucks because he felt like this is the year. Okay, hey Alex, people are starting to talk about you, man. You got a new point system here. Show how consistent you can be. And in the 1 year where you would love to see him just come back and win a race and get in, they don't do that no more. And so this is the worst possible year to have something like this happen now. I mean, literally at this point, I've already got a spoiler alert for predictions. I got one wrong because I said
Damn, the universe smited Danny now.
Did it do it again?
You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
It hasn't been an all episode, and it finally did right when I was in the middle of talking
your
about
soliloquy.
What was the last thing you all heard?
Talking about your prediction.
Yeah, I got a prediction wrong because I said I think he would be. He's not found. I said that I think Alex would be back in the car by Bristol. Well, now we know he's at least out through Bristol. Justin Allgaier will be driving the 48 at least until we get to Bristol Motor Speedway. And At that point, you got to wonder, is he going to come back after that? He's in such a hole right now, and 3 races, later, the hole's only going to get worse. Like, could he legit go on the biggest tear and win 10 races in a row and not even come close to the chase line at this point?
He could win the rest of them, and I don't think he'd come close. I mean, he's going to be so far back.
If he won all of them, he would.
I mean, you've
but
obviously
that's
won
not
all of
gonna
them,
happen.
but like,
that would be insane. Just that stat, if a driver won that much, it's like, why didn't he make the chase?
he turned real life into a Thunder 04 career mode. I feel bad for the guy. Like, I can't help but feel bad for him, because his entire tenure at Hendrick has been a question of who is going to replace you. And then in the career year where you can really stick it to everybody, it just goes to hell. And he already was 97, I think, out, 94 out. I mean, this does not mathematically, obviously, but this effectively ends his chase bid. There's no way he comes back from being 150, 160 points out, especially when you think that in 3 races, you're probably gonna have a stronger top 16 points wise than you have now. It's not going to be chasing, guys that are, maybe lucky to be in there at this point. You're probably going to have Ross Chastain in there by then. You're probably going to have Chase Briscoe in there by then. At this point, it's about performance the rest of the way. Just performance. I won't say in a vacuum, but as close to a vacuum as possible.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to get back in the car this year, first and foremost, because I think you just don't know. You don't know how long these symptoms and effects will linger. I'll expand the disappointment even further than just this year. I mean, back when he had that concussion, that was in the playoffs, and he was having a decent playoff run before that happened. The bigger one, though, was 2023. Remember, 2023, he was the points leader the first few weeks of the year. They had that penalty that was sort of like a retaliation for escaping Louvergate. And so he gets that penalty, and then like a week or two later hurts his back. And we saw with Denny Hamlin in 2013, you hurt your back, you don't come back 100% right away. It takes a long time to get that feel back. And so Bowman, that was 2 years in a row, really 2023 especially, 2 of the most promising runs of his career derailed by injury. And then this is just the icing on the shit cake, unfortunately, for Alex Bowman to have to deal with this in a pivotal contract year. I agree with you guys. Just feel bad for him. I hope he's able to get back to 100% first and foremost. That's the most important thing at this rate.
This is why, it's such a weird situation for Hendrick, because it's like, pretty sure at this point, 2311 is not going to let Tyler Reddick go. He won 3 races in a row for him to start the season. You'd be dumb to not offer him up the money he needs to stick around. So because that is secure, everyone else is looking like they're pretty secure. What does Hendrick do? Do they want to try and give Alex one more shot next year? I don't know what situation they find themselves in, or everyone finds themselves in. I think at this point I would like to see a true reset. Someone asked me about Titans uniform. That's a true reset. So same thing for my driver. I'd like to see a true reset. Maybe put him in a new car and see what happens. I'm not saying put him in RCR. Don't take me down that road. I'm not ready for that one yet. But I don't know. Let's maybe try something. Maybe we need to get out of here for a little bit.
It's getting more vague too in how they talk about. Like, they talked about, like, well, he drove in a street car, and now it's just like we're just waiting it out. Like, if you're looking a month, obviously I don't know all the medical side of it, but I feel like if you're looking a full month and then reevaluate by then, you don't know at that point. Like, vertigo is no joke. I've seen plenty of people talking about when they had it, and some have been like it was 2 days. Some have been like I had issues for 6 months. So that I don't think it's overboard to say, like, we don't even know if he's coming back at this point. I hope he does. But every time Hendrick updates the timeline with their announcements, it gets more and more vague. It goes from we'll try a week to, well, it's 2 weeks, another week, and he was in a streetcar or something, to we'll reevaluate in a month. Like, that doesn't give a vote of confidence really at this point. That's just more, we'll let you know whenever we know.
That's why even if it's like not until June, like as long as I just want to see him back at 100%, so that if he gets another year at Hendrick, or he gets the second half of this year to prove himself, or if he ends up in a different team, at this point, I just don't want this to be career ending. This season's over as far as preseason goals. This season's over. Focus on getting right for next season. If it's another opportunity, whatever, that should be the goal now.
I found this interesting. I just started typing into Google, can vertigo be, and the first thing that come up was, can vertigo be caused by stress? And the quick answer is yes. Stress and anxiety can directly cause or significantly worsen vertigo. High stress levels trigger fight or flight responses, releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that can disrupt the inner ear's balance mechanisms, leading to dizziness, lightheadedness, or a spinning sensation known as psychogenic dizziness. And with the situation he finds himself in this year, I believe stress could definitely be there. And if I'm not mistaken, he's opened up about dealing with anxiety in the past before as well. So
yeah,
this doesn't come as a shock to me now that I read it like that. This definitely sounds something that's right up and describes the state of Bowman's spot right now.
I would also say rule number 1 is do not Google your symptoms.
No,
or at least do not take it with do not just Google, because you will doom scroll. If you're feeling, you're like, why do I have this ache on my arm? Google WebMD. They'll tell you your arm's falling off.
Cut off the arm and do it now.
Amputate. So
the funny one was on Vine back in the day, where you go online to look up your symptoms because he got a bad cut on his elbow. And he goes 1 hour later and he looks up, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And it's a guy. But I hope
wishing Alex the best. Yeah, wishing Alex the best.
Yeah,
hopefully he gets back.
I want to see him back out there. I keep saying this. I want to see him have a chance at the All-Star race, because he ran really good at Dover last year. If he could take anything out of the season and win the All-Star race, that would make this Alex Bowman fan very happy.
Well, we can, I guess, talk about the former driver of the 48s team.
True. Jimmy Johnson. He's already confirmed that Legacy intends to have a third car next year. Is that meaning a third charter or just third car?
They have a third charter. Yeah. They're getting it from Brickware/RFK.
Yeah, that was the lawsuit thing I think they had last year. That was like the B plot, or maybe C plot of NASCOURT last year that got sort of brushed aside.
The undercard.
Yeah. And so I think there's two questions. And honestly, I think people are focusing on the one that's less interesting, but I think we should start and then get to the interesting one. Who do you think the driver is? Because I think that's a less interesting question. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and I'll give my answer first. Riley Herbst. He's already in Toyota system. He's going to bring in solid funding for the team. And that makes the most sense. It clears up a clear open path to get Corey Hyman at 2311. And this would make all parties happy.
I'm kind of with you on that. As much as I don't want that compared to the alternative.
Riley does make a ton of sense. Originally, I know there were some rumblings about Jesse Love. I think Jesse Love is a Cup Series prospect. I would be a little surprised if he's not in a Cup car next year. A little. I don't know. I guess I don't know for sure. You never know what will.
I think Jesse Love's good enough to get a better Cup Series ride. Like I said, I would consider him. Yeah. I would consider him, hey, is he a Cindric alternative? Is he a Bowman alternative?
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, that's very possible. The other name I'll throw out there, I have heard Harrison Burton's name come up in connection to Legacy Motor Club as well. I think Riley Herbst on the surface is a little more obvious for all the points you guys said, like it frees up a spot for Heim. Jimmy Johnson was literally in a Herbst owned off-road truck a couple weeks ago racing. So the Herbst connection makes a ton of sense, but Harrison Burton also has a Toyota connection. Harrison and Jeff, both very well liked and well respected in and around the industry. And if they bring the funding, I think Harrison Burton with 3 years of Cup experience could also be a candidate. I don't know that he's plan A, but I would not be shocked if he's a plan B or a plan C for that third seat.
Yeah.
What if it isn't just one at Legacy? Because both drivers' contracts, I believe, could be ending this year.
Yeah, it could be. That's possible.
Like
it could be a whole new group. It could be Jesse Love, Riley Herbst, and Harrison Burton.
Kyle Busch could come back to Toyota.
I also think too, like, do you think they're just going to buy out the 44 from NY Racing? Like just 42,
Yeah.
43, 44?
Yeah, you got
They
to.
should, please, for my OCD's sake, please. That would be preferred.
Hey, no offense to Eric Jones. Maybe you shuffle him into a different number. But man, Kyle Busch driving the 43, being, having over 200 career wins.
I hear the 70 odd up crowd is really mad about that one.
I can already see the Nick Bromberg tweet.
Oh God.
I do love me some good chaos. So Kyle Busch at a 43, man.
Jeez.
So I think the interesting question of this is what happens with the 60 team, because I saw a Couch Racer talking about it, that all 3 drivers are racing for their job, and everyone laughed. Brett Griffin saying something stupid. But hear me out. I think that they're not necessarily off base as much with that, because if it's to 2 charters, you got to make a cut. That's somebody's got to go.
Yep.
And there's not just performance, there's also sponsorship. There's also necessarily what might be better for the long term of the team. And this is where I think maybe Brad Keselowski does hang it up and let Preece go in the 60. That could be an option. Or we can go nuts. Dodge has been talking about going to Cup next year. And Brad Keselowski has said they're adamant of having 3 teams. Do you remember that it was RFK Racing was the first team that Dodge talked to about going into Cup in 2020?
Couple years ago. Yep.
It could be really wild. And I know
thank you. I've been saying this since 2023. I'm like, RFK to Dodge makes sense. And everyone's like, Jack would never allow it. And I'm like, if the alternative is losing a charter
anymore,
okay, we gotta go one at a time here.
If the alternative is losing a charter, then I think Jack would go to. Jack's a figurehead. He is the face still of he's the hat of the organization.
You barely even see Jack though at this point.
Brad is, I think, the heartbeat of the team right now. And I think Brad business first. If Dodge presents them an opportunity to keep their 3 charters, do it. But here's the thing is I just don't know. The awkward part is, will Dodge, we still don't even know if Dodge is going to be able to go Cup racing next year. Like deadlines are coming up quick.
If they're not already passed, car they would enter it right now.
What do they have designed? What's been tested? What's been approved? For all we know, it could be very little, could be nothing. So 2027 is up in the air. I'm with you, Jarrett. The Roush situation is interesting. It's also the most complicated free agency situation because, because you just don't know. You don't know. Like maybe they have that big Kroger deal. Maybe they run a 3rd car as an open car next year. And then in 2028, Dodge brings them a charter. Like maybe they just eat the cost for one season and keep the group together. I don't know.
Toyota came to the Truck Series, 04, and then by 07, they were in Cup.
That sounds right. Something like that.
So with that math, we're on pace. We're fine if they're not here next year.
And there's still I don't know. Does Gene Haas really want to keep doing this? What's up with Hayek now that half their ownership group is turned over?
Those are the 2 I'm interested with.
I mean, even Rick Ware, I know he wants his son to race. He's a racer. He's got race teams all over the place. There's still some charters out there that, do we know they're safe and secure for next season, or could they be bought for the right price? There's still a lot that could happen.
After the whole deal with the lawsuit, everyone's gung ho that it's like $80 million to $100 million. It's a whole different world compared to 6 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. I agree. It's interesting, but it's also the hardest to keep track of because there are additional variables in play.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on from that. You guys want to go shop on Whatnot? I've heard some good things about that here.
I certainly don't want to live stream on it.
I haven't seen very many good things happening on Whatnot in the past 24 hours.
Michael Marutz calls me Danny Ballbuster, but Daniel Dye, if you recall, was the original Danny Ballbuster.
I really didn't think you were going to go there, but damn.
He was. That is true.
He did. You went there.
That is true.
The Rubicon was crossed. Which, by the way, while we were looking through some of the other headlines, I was, looking on Reddit to see about if there's updates with the NASCART stuff. And literally the minute that I went on there, another clip of Daniel Dye from that live stream came up.
Is it good, or have you seen it? Or
I was scared that the audio was going to come across the live stream and we'd get flagged. So I'm not going to play it. I haven't heard it, but
I did see a report. I want to say Joseph Strigley tweeted that his understanding was there might be additional clips from that live stream that made Colleague and NASCAR not happy. I don't know what those clips are. I don't even know how to find this live stream.
I don't know enough context. I have seen a screenshot where people have pointed out he's literally being spoon fed.
This is such a okay. One, this is just such a dumb move on his part. I mean, especially somebody who is younger than us. You know how the internet works. You know how PR works. You know how people are going to respond to this stuff. You should at least know all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you are dumb enough to still do this said thing on a live stream. Say what you want. I think indefinitely suspending, I think, is too far personally. I think it was Moonhead put out like, wow, you can try and murder somebody in a car and get a 1 week suspension and get indefinite, and there's a heavier suspension for this.
Yeah. Well, indefinite could be just 1 week. I think that's very likely that he completes the media or sensitivity training and is back in the truck in 10 days or whatever. But I'm with you. A suspension for this. I mean, it was kind of the same deal with the Noah Gragson deal. It felt like at the time that was legacy trying to get out of that deal.
Even with Gregson's deal, it's stupid. But here's the thing: at least with Gregson, he thought to an extent he was under private surveillance, just liking something and realize it's going to be out there. This is something you're literally in front of a camera. People can see you.
I'll agree. This was more. The awareness was even less in Daniel Dye's case. But my point, to your point, Jared, I think suspending someone indefinitely for this feels like a bridge too far. But it is dumb. It's a bad look. For those who haven't seen the clip, he's making fun of David Malukas, IndyCar driver's voice. He references gay voice and does this whole bit. So it's just,
and I don't know enough about David to really know what he's talking about, but
either way, it's tacky. It was ugly. It felt like what stood out to me is Daniel Dye is 22 years old. He's a young man. And that felt like the kind of conversation you'd hear the assholes in high school have, like at the lockers, that felt like a very 15, 16-year-old immature conversation. And he's having it in full view of everyone on a live stream. Ironically, the teenager in the room, Brent Cruz, could kind of sense where things were going and removed himself from the situation. So it's just, you got to have more sense when you represent. He's literally wearing a Mopar Ram shirt in the video. When you are representing Ram in their big, bombastic return to NASCAR racing, you got to watch what you say. You have to carry yourself professionally. He didn't. He failed miserably on those two fronts in that video. And, I think a suspension, that seems questionable, sure, but a message needed to be sent. There needed to be some sort of at least internal repercussions, because you can't represent your brands and sponsors like that in this day and age. You just can't. You got to have more sense than that.
It's funny to think the difference of 22-year-olds. Daniel Dye is 22 years old, and we see what's happened to him. The guy who won the Bassmasters Classic is actually a local guy to around here, Dylan Nutt. He's 22 years old. He has a twin brother named Carter Nutt. Dylan qualifies in fishing what they call like a grassroots series of Bassmaster, gets his way in for that way, goes out and spent like 2 months on a lake back in November and December, knew the lake like the back of his hand, won it. He was praising God up on stage when he won it. His brother's up there celebrating. They're all tearing, they're thankful, they've been very polite all week after all this. And then you turn to NASCAR and here's your 22-year-old example. It's like, what a world of difference. It's just depending on,
It just seems like a guy that, hasn't faced any consequences ever. I mean,
there's an old saying. You can tell when someone has not been punched in the mouth every now and again.
Well, I mean, like you look at some of the other young drivers, like Connor Zillage wouldn't put himself in this position. Jesse Love wouldn't. These are guys who know that they have a long-term, probably successful career on the upturn, and this is a guy who got into pretty much every ride he's been in because of daddy's money. I mean, look at the charity, the nonprofit that sponsors his car. I think it was a Race Against Suicide. run by his father. Like 70%, the money of it came out of the numbers. Like 70% of his of that money from that goes to sponsoring Daniel Dye. Like it's just
he is
shoveled to him.
He is and you know, there's a lot of drivers like him in trucks, Xfinity, Cup. It's a daddy's money driver. Doesn't mean he doesn't have some talent. He's had some decent runs in his career, but let's be honest about how he's gotten as far as he's gotten. He's had opportunities that few others could even dream of. And so that's why it's just even more offensive when you see a clip like this, where the lack of awareness is just so brazen. It's just like, man, like this, I don't want people like him representing our sport. That's what it comes down to ultimately. Is like he makes the entire industry look bad when he goes on that little tangent on that live stream like that. It's just not a good look. So
in an era where we've got a lot of, you know, good examples of young drivers like, you know, Connor Zilish so far, what we've seen of him.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar, you know, for what it's worth, he is chronically online when he's not racing. It seems like always he's either doing a Twitch stream, he's on Twitter, or he's doing stuff with Whistling Diesel, or he's, you know, whatever it may be. But we haven't seen anything that necessarily crosses the line with a person like that.
I think the worst trouble he got was when he accidentally let it slip about like Chicagoland being back before he went to the track. Like,
and even then, we already knew it wasn't like that was the end of the world.
But just dumb move.
Pretty nuts.
Speaking of things that are nuts, some of our predictions, man, sometimes the things we say, they are.
I had a good week of predictions. I can't wait to see this.
All right. Yeah. So each week we make 2 motorsport NASCAR show related predictions. Try and keep tracking our accountability session and remain concise. Danny, let's see where we all went out.
And there's no money in here.
Okay, we'll go to Danny's.
All right.
Hey,
I got
1
Chris
for 3.
Buescher still being in the top 10 after week 5, but sadly I was wrong on Bowman at Bristol and Hocevar scoring a top 5 at Vegas.
Hey, 2 for 2, baby.
Go for Danny.
Oh, sorry. Fox will interview Jerry Jones at some point during the Arlington Grand Prix. That did happen. Eric sent us the picture to confirm that. And there'll be more Toyotas and Chevys in the top 5 at Las Vegas. Good call on
me, or is Jerry Jones turning into Palpatine? Like the dude looks like Palpatine.
Yeah.
Good. Use the power of Jerry.
Oh, we got a puppy dog's just been dropped off. Hi, Amelia.
Hi.
They said hi. Apparently, he was scratching at my door. He wanted to see where I was.
That was what Shugs was doing right at the very start. Literally, when Jarrett was playing the intro, and y'all can hear, I heard Shugs at the door, ka-tunk, 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 and I was like, okay, come on, kitty. And immediately after, he's like, I want to go out. It's like, why'd you even want to come in here?
Cosmo, what do you have to say?
I get to meet Cosmo finally. I didn't get to meet him last time I came to you guys.
Yeah, you get to see little Cosmo. All right, Cosmo, you know I'm here now. You know I'm safe. Tangled up in the wires. No.
Oh, no.
All right.
The funny part is, like, we can see underneath the full camera view, so we saw the whole thing. Oh, all right. I'll kick off predictions here. We have had an amazing streak starting the year of every race, Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup combined, has finished under green. I think it keeps going. I think all 3 races at Darlington finish under green this week.
Okay. Am I next? Yes. Yeah. I'll start positive. I've seen some pretty cool, especially on the O'Reilly side. I've seen a couple really awesome Greg Biffle inspired throwback schemes. Obviously, RFK Racing are all running sort of Biffle inspired, number fonts and throwbacks, like all really cool stuff. My prediction is that at least one Greg Biffle tribute or throwback scheme will score a top 5 this weekend in Truck O'Reilly. I don't know if there are any trucks, but in the races, there will be at least one top 5.
My prediction is that Jarrett forgot to go over the percentages. I got it correct.
Oh, son of a bitch. Here you go.
That is not my prediction. That's an easy layup.
All right, 50% for Eric, 46 for me, 35 for Danny this year, and I'm still
the dog distracted us. That's my bad.
I saw a cute pupper.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sick. I'll use it as my excuse.
No, for real, my real prediction will be Dale Jr. when he races at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway in the late model race, he will score a top 10.
Okay.
Cup race will have 12 or more yellows. I think with the tires falling off as much as they are, I think you're going to see a lot of guys that are not on it, that maybe aren't as good at saving tires, even if it's 3 seconds or so. There's going to be desperate people. There's going to be single car spins off probably turn 4 or turn 2. So I think we're going to see a heavy caution race, 12 or more.
My next prediction is also throwback related, but this one is more negative. It's no longer throwback weekend. It's alumni weekend, I suppose, but there are still a good deal of throwback schemes we've seen unveiled.
Yeah.
However, I predict that not one throwback scheme will go to victory lane this weekend across Trucks O'Reilly or Cup. They'll be shut out.
Seems like a layout to me, but I'll allow it.
Are there any good drivers that are running throwbacks?
Well, I know the RFK cars all have throwbacks.
Well,
Watch Carson Hosford's going to get his first win in that Dale Earnhardt scheme. I saw an interesting note for the Indy 500. College football national championship winning coach Kirk Signetti for the Indiana Hoosiers will be driving the pace car in the Indy 500. Well, NASCAR being based in the South, we're going to see a college football coach from an SEC school driving a pace car at a NASCAR race this season. I don't know which one, but we will see one.
All right.
I'm trying to think what team, but we'll see.
Maybe Atlanta Motor Speedway can get Kirby Smart from Georgia to come up and drive.
Would Heupel do like the Nashville Super Speedway race, or is that too far out of the way?
Bristol maybe if they
Bristol, yeah.
Well, let's see. What is with Bristol? Anytime there's anything Tennessee football related, it seems like they race, because literally their race weekend is also the spring orange and white game. So I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Nope, probably not.
But anyways, a college football coach from the SEC will drive a pace car.
Good deal.
All right. We'll keep track of those. I think we got one more fun segment.
Oh boy.
We do, and it might be a little random.
Random driver
Of the week.
So goodbye, chat. See you in the
See you in a
second.
minute, chat.
All right. So Danny leads Eric 37-36 all time. Same as last week, because last week I stumped them with Speedy Thompson in that time
Never
too.
heard of this man in my life.
Eric the week before had Natalie Decker correct, and 3 in a row for Danny: Kevin LePage, Fred Lorenzen, and Ralph Earnhardt.
Like, that can't be a real name. Speedy Thompson sounds like a generic like extra in the NASCAR EA Sport video game. Speedy Thompson.
You're telling me Speed Racer's not real?
So we don't have as many clues this week, so you guys are gonna have to be on it right off the bat.
It's someone who doesn't have a lot known about them.
We'll see. This random driver is a California native.
It's a good hint. It's a good first hint. I like it. Thank you.
And
What?
Never
mind. I'm not going to try to get on the first try. That's dumb.
This random driver is 40 years old. So not a youngin for driving.
Trying to think of the age of this person, but I think he's a little older than 40 that I thought of.
I got the numbers already that this random driver ran in.
Geez, okay, let me get my pen ready. I wasn't prepared to take notes.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to do it that fast.
Yeah, I got to keep you guys on your toes, man.
Am I wearing the same shirt? Oh God, I probably am.
Let me see. No, I think it's a different one.
No, oh wait, no, that shirt. I have that shirt right here for some.
What the?
I was wearing it earlier today. I just had it on the back of my chair. What are the odds? I had a lot of blue shirts. Right. What can I say?
The numbers are 5, 9, 11. Make a wish. 32, 38, 49, and 90.
Oh, those are some iconic numbers right through there.
Yep.
They are 40 years old and they drove these numbers.
is this? Oh, this should be obvious.
Yeah.
Random driver scored 6 top 10s in 36 O'Reilly Series starts.
And how many O'Reilly starts?
36. So 1/6 of the starts were top 10s.
They didn't race a lot because 36 is not a lot.
That's just O'Reilly. Maybe they went straight to Cup, or maybe they didn't get to Cup.
This
Perhaps.
random driver in O'Reilly drove for Steve Turner and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chat hasn't got it yet, by the way.
Wow. Okay. Makes you feel a little bit better.
Though I don't know if the chat actually froze on me. So,
He drove for Steve Turner
and Dale Jr.
and Dale Jr.
All right, we got somebody who got it. This random driver scored 3 top 10s in 18 Truck Series starts. So another one where 1/6 of the starts were top 10s.
It's not bad.
I'm just going to throw a guess out there. Is it Stephen Light?
Stephen Light is Danny's guess, and
Okay.
wrong. And it didn't repeat this time.
The numbers you gave us, are those all like across all 3 series, or is that just Cup? Like what series?
It's all across all.
Across all of them. Okay. Wow. All right.
None of us have tweeted about this random driver. So this random driver's nickname is the Big Cat.
Oh, it's Brad Sweet.
Brad
There
Sweet.
you go.
Correct.
Yes. Hell yeah. I've been to 2 World of Outlaws races. He won one of them back in the day, I believe. Yeah.
So were you including his World of Outlaw numbers in those numbers?
Pretty sure. I wrote these down like weeks ago.
Okay. Because the
So, yeah.
49 and 9 makes a lot more sense now.
And the rest of them were dirt racing ones. So even if you weren't 100%, we would have gotten there. That was
Hell
quick.
yeah. I feel
quick.
good about that. I couldn't let that one slip away. I've actually seen him win a race. I've not been to that many sprint car races, so I was like, oh, gotta get the Big Cat.
One could say 15 clues. That was a sprint race.
Johnny Gibson, the PA guy, or the play-by-play guy for the World of Outlaws, like every time Brad Sweet does something, it's the Big Cat, Brad. Like he'd drop that constantly. Like that is, should have saved that for the last clue.
See, I always jump those in there in case, like, to see if one of you guys knows, and then I can like shuffle them up.
Yeah,
I'm assuming his Stephen Turner number was 32.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And then he drove the 5 for Junior Motorsports. Trying to figure out where the 11, 38, and 90 come from.
Go on Racing Reference. They got them all. And Wiki page. They all got them all. That was fun. A little bit of
That was
fun.
fun. I needed
Let's go on
that
to
Ty Danny
Darlington.
again.
That's right. Yeah. You guys are tied, and I'm tied with the guests.
There's a lot of 7s on this list. 37, 37, 7, 7.
All right, Danny. We got a few different people racing this weekend. What do we got for Darlington?
Yes, we do. Welcome to Darlington, everybody. As I get ready to go back and find our lovely forecast for Mr. Jeff Ford, get that queued up and ready. We do have some weekend notes. Timmy Hill will be in the 66 car for Garage 66 this weekend. Ross Chastain will be driving a 9 for Junior Motorsports. Christopher Bell will be in the O'Reilly Series race in the 19. Really, it's going to be a very interesting to see who we all pick for that one, I feel. Kyle Larson going to be in the 88. Williamson Walsh will be in the 1 truck for Tricon this weekend. AJ Allmendinger will be subbing out for Daniel Dye in a 10 truck for Colleague this weekend. Corey LaJoy also in a 25 truck for Colleague, but it was already, supposed to be happening. Connor Jones will be racing in the 42 truck for Nice this weekend, while Ross Chastain drives the 45. Christopher Bell will be in the number 62 truck for Hallmar Friesen Racing. And Carson Hosevar will be in the number 77 truck for Spire this weekend. As for the races, you have the Cup Series race being the Goodyear 400. It's a 293-lap race. Broke up 90 laps in Stage 1, 95 laps in Stage 2, and 108 laps in Stage 3. It's going to start at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on FS1 and Fox 1. You can also listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM Radio. The defending winner of this race is last week's winner, Denny Hamlin. The O'Reilly Series race is the Sports Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200 as a mouthful, but it is for good cause, I guess. 147 laps in this one, 45 laps in stage 1 and 2, 57 laps in stage 3. It's going to start at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch it on the CW. You can also listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM Radio. The defending winner of this race, Brandon Jones. As for the Truck Series, it's the Buckle Up South Carolina 200. Also a 147 lap race. It's broke up into 45 laps in stage 1 and 2, 57 laps in stage 3, just like the O'Reilly Series. This one's going to start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night. And
Yes.
you can watch it on FS1 and Fox 1. You can also listen to it on the NASCAR Racing Network. And the defending winner of this race is in the race, Corey Heim. As for the weather, meteorologist Jeff Bork from WSAV in Savannah, Georgia, is looking like a mild spring weekend for the area of South Carolina. Truck Series race will be lovely, with mainly sunny skies pre-race, giving way to a cool, clear night with temperatures falling into the 50s. So maybe you need a light jacket. The O'Reilly Series race will be slightly warmer, with temperatures falling from highs in the low 80s to the 60s by the time the checkered flag flies. There will be the chance of spotty showers and storms for sometime Saturday or Sunday, with mid-level disturbances moving through around the periphery of high pressure. High pressure locks in by mid-Sunday, so that will give the area a break before next week's cold front. Cup on Sunday will be warm and humid with highs in the mid 80s, but certainly not as bad as Darlington can be. It was pretty hot when we were there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was also in May.
Yeah,
compared to March. So,
yeah, I think this weekend I'm fishing on Saturday, and the high for Saturday here is like 82. Sunday's high here is like 90. I can't believe 90 degrees after we were literally just seeing snow earlier this week.
Real quick fact, I didn't realize the crew chief for the 99 truck this week is Cale Gale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that in the entry list. I was like,
that's a fun fact. That's why the chat is spamming Cale Gale.
He needs to just walk up to Kyle Busch and shake his hand.
I want to shake your hand.
Oh, look at that guy still up there at the points later.
That is, wow. Welcome back, Championship 4. I mean, goodness gracious, basically a 4-way tie.
Guys, get out of my blanket.
Yeah, Danny at 86, chat -1, Eric -2, and I'm -4. So we all gained this week, but
chat with the big. Where was Danny last week?
Leading leader.
Oh, he was. Okay, chat was 4th, I think, right? Now they're 2nd. So that's a big up for the chat.
I'm just not used to me being the leader for this long. This isn't supposed to happen.
Well, that means
don't get too comfortable.
That means I get the first pick. Let's
let's
do it.
Truck race.
Who do you think is going to win the Truck Series race?
Corey Heim.
Yeah. No.
Wow. He wasn't even on my list.
What madman.
Oh my God. All right, I'll take Christopher Bell.
He wasn't even on my list. Chat, who do we think?
Not because obviously I'm a behind believer, but he's in the 5 truck. Has he ever driven the 5 truck? Is that going to be the best stuff?
He's drove the 1.
I mean, he'll be in the top 5. Don't get me wrong. I'm just shocked you picked him with the first pick.
I was thinking about Bell, but it's just that second Helmar reason truck is never that good.
That's fair too. That's fair.
Hold the chat on this one because it's pretty split between Hocevar and Lane Riggs.
A couple melons. Oh no, it's just Ross Chastain in the set with the melons. Never mind.
Well, Ross is in the race, and he is pretty good here.
Yeah, but there's only one guy picking him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty split between 77-34, so they're going to pull on that. Think about it for a second, chat. This is a very, very important decision, probably the most important decision you've ever had in your entire life. And you've got to think of a way to decide this because I'm about to end your poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. It's over.
Who they got?
Lane Riggs.
Wow. So Riggs was my number 2 pick. Hocevar was my 3 for the record. That's
So,
wild.
I will go with Carson Hocevar. He was my number 2.
All right.
Dang,
So we
okay,
go.
That's gonna be an
Riley.
interesting one.
Kyle Larson.
Why'd I even write him down?
Yep, same. Number 1 off the board again.
So I'm gonna maybe we'll make this a theme. I'll take Christopher Bell again.
That was my number 2.
Yeah, I feel good about this one.
Yeah.
I felt better about Christopher Bell and JGR equipment I did in Stuart Friesen.
That's true. That's a good point.
Chat
might be going Allgaier.
It's a lot of 7s.
Yeah, it's a lot of 7s.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty unanimous. And that was my number 3, all in that order.
Dang. Great minds think alike. And
So
so
I
do
will
average
go
ones.
I will go with number 4, who was also the other name I saw around. I'll go for Ross Chastain.
He's in the 9 this week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty good car.
All right. I'm going to have my suck pick. You know, I'm going to be funny with it. Chat did this last year. I'm going to do it here. Fox Sports. I mean, that's not for points, so.
It's too bad you don't make the graphic because it'd be hilarious just to see. Here's the cup suck picks. Fox Sports.
I'd probably get a strongly worded tweet responding to me from a Fox exec who's
a certain one
from a certain point of view.
I will go. I hate to pick on this guy, but Darlington's a tough track. Could be insane tire fall off with less downforce, less downforce, different tires. I'm sorry, same tires, less downforce, more horsepower. Could be crazy. I think it's going to eat Connor Zilic up. He's had a rough go of it so far this year, unfortunately.
I think the number I say the most is the 8, Kyle Busch. So I'll go with that.
Sure.
It's been a hot start for him, but I will say Bubba Wallace is going to take a little bit of a break this week and not have a good run.
He's good here.
He is, but I'm going to say that just as a whole, it's not their weekend.
So for dark horses, I'm going to disagree with the chat. I'll say Kyle Busch. This is an old school race. This can be a race that you need to be good with managing the tires, to track that he's pretty decent at in general. I'm not saying he's going to win or even be top 5, but Kyle Busch sneaking into the top 10 at the end, I could see it.
I'll take Chris Buescher. Almost won this race 2 years ago. His teammate did instead. I like Buescher for maybe a top 5.
And it seems like me and chat are going to agree. We're both going to take Eric Jones as our underdog. So, yeah, we don't think he'll win, but like the second he crosses that border from North Carolina to South Carolina, he breathes that crisp South Carolina air. Something changes in Eric Jones.
I think the chat is rolling with you.
Unleashed. Good stuff. All right.
So that leads one more. He's going to win the cup race.
Yeah, Jarrett, who is going to win the cup race? It's going to go in the exact order. Okay, just mark all these guys off.
Denny Hamlin.
Oh, dang.
Not even on my list.
No, that was my number 1. I was really hoping you wouldn't pick him. I could be really funny here and go Bell.
I'm about to say, like, when's he going to do it?
Bell's not number 2 on my list, but I'm considering bumping him up for the memes. I'm going to go Tyler Reddick.
Dang, that was my number 1.
Yeah, sorry. Give me Reddick.
I think a lot of 19.
Wow. They're buying Chase Briscoe is back, I guess.
A ton of 19.
I am shocked that is this unanimous.
Whoa,
Okay.
They want Chase Briscoe. Okay. I mean, I had him as my number 4, but y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pick. I'm just surprised it's that consistent in the chat.
All right. Well, give him Chase Briscoe. I see that clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I'll take Kyle Larson.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
bold. Like, has he finished a spring race like on the lead lap in the last?
He will this year, Jarrett.
He does struggle in the spring for some reason, but he's better in the fall. I mean, I feel like we picked 4 good guys. I mean, the Toyotas have been hot to start the year. Larson's usually fast, whether he finishes or not. Yeah, that's another question.
Is there anyone on your list that we didn't take? Because last week I had Denny Hamlin on my list. None of us took him.
I took my entire list.
Well, he had the one. I only wrote 2 names down for each. Or actually, I did write 3 for the O'Reilly. But yeah, I had I had Hamlin and Reddick were my 1-2 in that order.
The only one on here that wasn't took for me was Chase Elliott.
That's also
He's
solid.
under the radar guy.
Yeah.
All
right.
And,
Good stuff.
That'll do it. We've got our picks locked in, and only thing left to do now, finish reading the rest of the super chats.
Sweet deal.
Let's get it.
I better hurry because I'm starting to feel my allergies acting up. Justin Drake, appreciate the $9.99 coming from you. Eric, looking to hate on Tony Stewart like Suarez's wife loves to tweet about Trackhouse. Denny only has 3 W's at Daytona in all 3 series. Tony has 11 of 4 in a row in the Xfinity Series opener.
Oh my gosh, we're comparing Xfinity numbers now. Hey, I conceded I'd take Tony over Hamlin.
I'm with Eric to an extent. That'd be like Bobby Gerhart trying to flex on Denny Hamlin's 3 Daytona 500 wins a little bit.
I'm just saying, I think the Harley J. Earls trump any O'Reilly Daytona win, as impressive as that is. And I concede, I'll admit, I'm not a Tony Stewart fan. At least I wasn't growing up. But I concede he's better than Denny right now.
Snap back to reality. Appreciate the 5, I forget what that Russian dollars, I forget what that currency means. While Hamlin is aging like the finest wine you can find, Kyle Busch is the already rooted expired milk at the back of the shelf right now. Pain. Oh, what's Alex Bowman, the turkey leg someone threw out of the fridge forever ago? Bailey Riker, appreciate the $2. Every turn matters. Chris Buescher, 2026. Under Nixon Fishing, appreciate the $4.99. I feel like Trackhouse is still stuck in 2022. They have not been able to keep up this car like the other teams, and they have got left behind. Yeah, I feel that to an extent. That they have some good moments, but they don't seem like they're consistent enough.
Yeah, they have their pop moments, but otherwise SVG, I think, masked some of their difficulties last year.
Yeah. I agree with Ross Chastain. Anthony and Justin's performances are vindication for Bowman fans. Yep, to an extent. It looks like it's just a car sometimes. Stephen Gibson, appreciate the generous $20. Personally believe that if Bowman ever comes back, Vertigo is no joke. He will be on a Tier 2 or Tier 3 Chevy team. I believe Busch is going back because Hendrick having a lighter system, and I'm going to go ahead and clarify. He sent a $2 one to clarify he meant Spire for Brexton to race. So he thinks that he's going to go there because of their relationship with Spire, and that could be a good path for him to go, and just a good relationship with Spire in general. But I also believe, hey, why not just go race for Spire? You know, that might also happen too. Jensen, appreciate the $20 from you. Let them fight. NASCAR should stay out of it unless it turns into a KB Stenhouse brawl. NASCAR got to the attention because of a fight on live TV after all. Yep. And there's a fight in 1979. Let the teams decide if it's okay for their drivers to fight or not.
They're angry. They know they have lost.
That's such a great call.
Yep. You just don't get them like that no more. Fred Dog, appreciate $10. NASCAR are a bunch of hypocrites. They want you to believe in hell yeah, Wild West vibe, but scare drivers into not fighting. You can't play both sides. You can't be both professionals and outlaws to the audience. That's fair.
That's true. I do think their messaging has been mixed, although their actions have set a pretty clear precedent.
That Brad Moran statement he made was like, it was just like, we don't want this, but we don't want this, but we want this, and we want that. I'm like, dude, just sit on the fence quietly at that point.
Yeah, he said a lot of nothing, unfortunately. He tried to make it he tried to answer the question, but basically didn't say anything.
Eric Andrade, 1548, appreciate the $5 from you. I am broke to watch FS1 exclusively. I am totally interesting to watch on streaming for races so I can give my top rating for NASCAR.
Prime for every race, 2032.
Jensen, appreciate you becoming a member of DannyB Superfans. Garon Cassidy, sorry, I'm butchering that name. Appreciate the $4.99 from you. Watching Denny go from 32nd to 5th in stage 2 in person was awesome. After the events of the last 6 months, how could anyone be against him? All in, spelled with the 11. I like that.
With the Chase Elliott profile.
That says a lot. Yeah, Chase Elliott profile picture. That says a lot right there.
So have we hit the point now where Hamlin isn't one of the, like, he has his detractors, but isn't one of the more hated drivers as much as like people actually root for him? Have we hit that point now?
Yes, I feel like it's temporary though. I feel like if he had won that championship last year, I don't know, all the stuff in the offseason, maybe people would have still been sentimental, but eventually that's going to wear off. And I feel like people are going to go back to jeering him at some point. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. I would not be shocked if he gets jeered again before the end of his career.
Jarrett, you can move on. Evergreen Mountain, thanks for the $5. I'm not reading that. That's too far. Eric Snatchko, appreciate the $4.99. Happy Denny won early. I'm sure it helps shake off everything. Also, shout out Danny B cameoing on the recent DC Solar Fireball video. Yes, if you haven't seen that, I did collab with Steve Bill of the Fireball YouTube channel. He was the videographer, or was supposed to be the videographer for DC Solar in the line of video documentaries that the guy wanted to make about himself, and basically was having someone film his total collapse behind the scenes. And now he's releasing all the footage, and I think he did a great job putting this together. It was nice to sit down and talk. We actually, everything we talked about didn't actually even come out in that episode, so there might be another episode where Danny B makes an appearance. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I am collabed with him on that particular episode number 4. I think he's had 4 episodes now, and really I need to watch the rest of them, but it was definitely interested in when he got to the NASCAR part of it for sure. Andy Carson versus NASCAR. Appreciate the $10 from you. Las Vegas and Arlington. O'Reilly and Cup was boring finish. Congrats to Hamlin family, though, on a much-needed family win. Thank you, IndyCar, for a pass for the lead in the last 10 laps. He also followed up with another $10. Appreciate that. Hey, NWP, glad NASCAR and Colic suspended Daniel Dye because of Larson and Gregson went through the same situation. Can't show any mercy. I was about to be Indy Carson only if NASCAR didn't punish Dye. Yep, I think we can all agree that
no mercy.
We can all agree that at least, based on precedent, the right decision was made there. He also followed up with another $5. Name me one time an IndyCar driver got suspended for a race because of social media actions. I feel like it's happened, hasn't it?
Does Kyle Larson count?
I feel like it's happened. I'm no David Land, but I feel like it's happened.
Someone could fill us in. I don't know.
Fred Dog, appreciate the $5. What do you think of Bob Pocker saying that Chevy fans should be a little concerned by the brand's performance so far this year?
If it's not Hendrick affiliated, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're, Hendrick is fine. I think if you're the rest of Hendrick, I said this the other day. I feel like I'd love a deeper dive into the true differences between the Hendrick engines faction and the ECR engines faction of Hendrick, because it certainly feels like there's a clear performance gap there, and I don't know.
JQ, appreciate you being a member. And view on the Titans uniform: don't hate, but don't love them. I didn't necessarily want to go away from the flame logo, but it is what it is. I like the idea of bringing back the Oilers colors, and I say that it's the Oilers colors. It's not Houston colors. It's the Oilers colors. Admittedly, to my Texan friend Eric here, the Texans are not the Oilers, and it's a great way, I feel, to still honor their heritage while still going in a new direction of being the Tennessee Titans. I think it really bridges the gap very well between the two parts of this franchise to being one. I would have probably preferred the logo. For some reason, they flat spotted the T instead of making it point like it used to. I'd have been fine to just kept the more the pointy T and then went at that direction of the colors and logo and stuff. But I'm not a designer for the Tennessee Titans, but I think it's gonna be really nice. I kind of liked. I didn't like it at first, but when I figured out what it was, they have four stripes going down the helmet and also on the sleeves, and those are actually supposed to be guitar strings that kind of honors the Music City element to being the Tennessee Titans. They're not the Nashville Titans, they're the Tennessee Titans, but they are based in Music City, so I like that little subtle detail of it. Overall, I feel like they did really good. And a lot of people a lot of NFL fans believe they're one of the best looking uniforms, but at the same time, they can play butt naked as long as they win more. I'm tired of losing.
Whoa. My only pushback, Danny, because when I see those colors, everyone thinks Oilers. I just looked it up. I just Googled. Tennessee produces about 177,000 barrels of oil annually. Texas, 2 billion annually. Tennessee, according to Google, is a minor oil producing state. I'm not trying to be the big oil fossil fuel guy over here. Put my Jerry Jones hat
Drill,
on.
baby, drill.
Well,
But come on now.
It's a good thing we're no longer calling ourselves the Tennessee Oilers because that would not make sense. We just have their colors.
I'm just saying. I can picture the little red oil derrick. So anyway. Sorry,
APC, appreciate the 499. Is there ever a chance that Chase Elliott leaves Hendrick or Mr. H lets him walk? Bill Elliott has Ford ties, so maybe Chase would want to drive a Ford someday. Yeah, I'm not going to totally rule it out. I mean, a lot of people, even though they had their struggles, never really saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. leaving his dad's team, but he eventually did. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if one day, Chase decided to try something new. Not going to see it happening anytime soon, but maybe one day. Jeffrey King, appreciate 999. June 4th is a cursed racing date. If you win on that date, you have a 33.3% chance of never winning again. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Petty, and Kyle Busch all won on June 4th. And, well, KB can break it, but doesn't mean he's going to.
Wait, is that a true stat that Johnson and Petty got their last wins on that date?
I guess so.
And Kyle Busch, as of now, did as well. If that's a true stat, that's spooky.
Jeffrey King, appreciate the 499. I predict the champion will have to win 2 or more races in regular season and win at least one race in chase. No one race win championship winners.
How many more points, probably?
Yeah. I think they're going to have to win a little bit more than that, honestly. But Jeffrey King, appreciate it again, another 499. While Daniel Dye is getting suspended and already is mid, abusing the full-time ride, Heim is still part-time. Yeah, that's sad, but true. Justin Drake, appreciate 999. Love seeing all the throwbacks teams are coming out with for Darlington. Biggest middle finger to Elliott, and I love it. Somebody slapped that golden boy for crying about throwbacks and getting it taken away.
Damn. Justin Drake always bringing the spicy takes.
I mean, I liked it even though it's optional. We've still seen a few teams decide to do it. Snap back to reality with the other 5. I'm just going to say dollars because I don't know what the R means. Can you guys look up Live Fast Coke 400 scheme in 2021? It's a random scheme banger. Also, how will KB get his race ruined this weekend? That one was the one where it was the Gator? Is that the one it was? The
I remember
boggy bottoms. I went to that Gator, the airboat tours, and so I kind of remembered I have a die cast of that one, I think.
Oh yeah, it was the what does that say? The Airboat Adventures, Gatorland. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's sick. I forgot about
it. It's pretty cool. They take you out in an airboat, and the airboat's so loud you have to wear ear protection to be out on it. Does KB even remember Cal? That's a good question. He probably does. Anyone who can get the best of him like that, probably. Jensen with the $10, appreciate that. Another great episode, guys. Hope you're feeling better, Jarrett. Missed last week's NWP, storm of the decade. Terrible flooding, no power / internet across all of Hawaii last week. Aloha, stay safe, everyone. Oh, yeah, stay safe out there.
Yeah, I saw some of the videos.
I never heard anything about bad storms in Hawaii.
Yeah, I saw some videos of like roads had collapsed, flash flooding everywhere. So, yeah, I hope everyone's doing all right.
What the heck is this next one? Rick Allen's burner. I don't know.
Rick Allen's burner in the chat?
Yeah, but apparently you have an island. We're not going to go that direction.
Oh, news to
me. GN NASCAR fan, appreciate the $2. Danny, did you see the new Thomas the Tank Engine game come out? I did. I saw some clips of it. I think it's on PlayStation. I don't know if it's on Steam. I have to check. If it's on there, probably got to get it for Steam. I might have to look into it. Danny B Trains could play some Thomas.
I loved Thomas as a kid. I had so many Thomas the Tank Engine toys.
I did too. I still had them all. They're up in a box, and my future kid, whenever that is, will be able to play
I
with them.
hope my parents kept them in the attic somewhere. It's amazing I didn't turn into a rail fan. The amount of Thomas content
You still have time.
consume.
You're right down from a museum, and you got tracks behind you. I'm going to turn you into one.
That's true.
I have a goal when I come to Texas. We're going to have to go see a train, and you'll get to experience it.
I see train. To be fair, not to brag, I do see trains come through here almost every single day. Walking the dog.
He used to be Mr. Conductor and narrate Thomas the Tank Engine, right?
Of course not. How would I know that?
George Carlin, like one of the greatest comedians ever. He also, for those who might not know his comedy in the chat, because he did die like 25 years ago or something like that. He also plays, I think it's Fillmore in Cars, when it's like, dude, it's slower on every third blink, man. The 60s weren't good to you, were they?
Love it.
You know who else was the narrator for the first 2 seasons of Thomas?
Nope.
Ringo Starr.
I love that.
That is a crazy fact.
Yeah, I had to look it up to confirm, but I knew Ringo Starr had something to do with it. I didn't know it was the first 2 seasons of it. Bread Dog, appreciate the $5. To clarify, I agree with Eric. The punishment for fighting has been consistent. It's the messaging that isn't, and it really annoys me because it seems more like an open-ended threat, I guess, of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Mikey, appreciate $1.99. Denny died. No.
I wonder what Mikey thinks about that after he talked about Twinks all during St. Petersburg.
Okay, we're moving on. Eric Andrade, appreciate the $5. Sadly, we will not see another brawl since Gordon versus Boyer 2012 and 2024. I don't know if they both got penalized and fines after fight from 2012. I'm not sure what he's referring to about 2024, but yes, the 2012 one was an epic one.
And they were not fined for fighting. Gordon got fined for intentionally wrecking Clint Boyer. I still have issue with that one.
I don't know if I missed someone gifting some memberships, but we got 3 back-to-back memberships in a row. Duke Chronic, Rowdy 8 Diecast, and Shane Case Kurt. I think that's how you say that. All became members,
profile picture.
All became members of Danny B Superfans. Appreciate the support, guys. Appreciate you becoming members and showing your love for DannyBTalks and NWP. Justin Drake, looking like you're our last super chat, buddy. Appreciate $1.99. Return of the Greg Biffle Dodge 16 profile pictures. It's only fair. It's only fair.
Good deal,
Justin.
Nice.
Oh, one more. We got Shane Greenaway coming in. Did you guys see the video of LS George, aka Squirrel, driving Landon Huffman's late model at Hickory? I did not.
I saw a clip. I've not watched the whole video, but that's cool.
He's doing it the right way.
But that'll do it for this week. Next week, guys, you can catch us on Eric's channel next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going over everything that happened at Darlington, and we'll be getting you guys set up for the paperclip, the hot dog place, Martinsville Speedway.
Diggity dog.
They built a racetrack around my hot dog stand.
You can see trains behind Martinsville.
That you can. You can.
Good
show, folks.
I made it.
Hanging out.
I made it.
Now go on, get out of here.
Oh, I'm serious. I'm going to bed after this.
Drivers, start your engine!
See plenty of carnage up. Full head on them. Wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy.
It's a junkyard.
Spend too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas, gotta hang up here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job. 10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bullshit. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't racing no. What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots. I don't care. Just let me drive. What is he doing?
This is embarrassing. What a clown show. Did you ever think you would see that?